keep the head carried. Okay, well, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put the head back on. I'll put the head back on. Oh god, the bots are in full force there. Welcome to the Sandbox segment as I ban the bots. Well, again, we're making the game Snowjob, and we're gonna see what's gonna happen with Snowjob. And I'm very curious to see a blog post that was written recently by Gary Newman himself. Very interesting that he wrote it. Bark, 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 bark. Fuck off. Don't worry, chat. Don't worry. You don't have to fight for me. I can handle it. Don't worry, chat. All right. Everyone, get behind me. I'll handle the bot. Okay. I'll handle it. Welcome to the section where we talk about Gary's mod. Now on Twitter, Gary actually posted a post about what is Sandbox. Kind of a bold move because nobody really knows what it is. And it's been languishing in this realm where it's in like a weird 50-50 space. It worked though. It did work. But either way, it's good that he clarified it because there's a lot of people who could come into Sandbox thinking that it's a game that you can play and then it's a bad game and it's like a thing that they're building and it's like, why isn't it ready? Because I saw Skibbity Toilet and I want to have this. Like, in a weird, unfortunate way, Gary's mod is tied to Skibbity Toilet just by association. Why do I have a condom on my head? It's not a condom. It's from the meme. It's a. See, this is why I didn't want to have it, chat. I didn't want to have it. It's not a condom. It's a big brain thing. Okay, I just want to point out it because we're programming. I have a big brain today. Huh? Reading and returning 10 books a day from my local library, while subtly increasing the size of my cranium with latex and makeup until they say something. That's what we're doing today. Sandbox is in this very interesting place where, because they're tied to the popularity of like Half-Life 2 adjacent things, and because like Gary's mod shitposting has a bunch of like interesting stuff in it, what ends up happening is that you end up in a space where they have to post a statement about what Sandbox is because people go into it trying to find things like, what is, how can I make a Skibbity in this? Why is there no Skibbity tooling in this yet? And so I'm curious what this says, because to me it was very clear that this is like a tool that's going to eventually become more of a product eventually, but that they're focusing on like a more advanced game editing version of it, kind of similar to Roblox Studio. But apparently that wasn't clear enough for many people, and so they go over the history of this. Wait a minute, is this programming? It is. For the rest of the day as I eat popcorn. We're open now. Anyone can go to that to the Give Me That page. Is that actually the name of the page? It is. I have it already. And add Sandbox to their Steam accounts. I posted the link in the Give Me That page last week just on Discord. You didn't think anyone would take that much notice? You thought people would share it with their friends that wanted to join with their development teams. What happened is that Gmod 2 is ready got posted everywhere. 50,000 people used the link, tried to play Gmod 2, and got angry as fuck. I don't blame them. Like, this is not a Gary's mod problem. It's just unfortunate, right? Because the page literally says, optically, spiritual successor to Gary's mod 2. I've always long since said, if you want to use the phrase spiritual successor, don't. Because people won't understand what that means, right? People are going to go into it thinking, oh yeah, spiritual successor, that means it has to be this. But it's like, no, like you have to be even more clear and say, this is not Gary's mod. This is its own thing. Like you have to almost say like, no way. Even if you do a different name, it like doesn't matter because people just kind of get this impression in their minds. And then you get the mind-worn people, the people who like go to make clickbait, people like me, right? I don't do too much clickbait, but I do it as like a for fun, like as a satirical thing, and then I use the actual like tool to build stuff with. Like I use the tools within Sandbox to like build stuff with it, while the title says this is the spiritual successor to Gary's mod 2, and it's like that's not true. So let's like read all this. How many lines will he write? Place your bets. I'm gonna write a lot of lines, chat. Don't worry. 100 without template 5. The game side of things was not ready for this kind of scrutiny. The game system is still really bad. I actually think the game system still needs time to cook. But it's not a problem of the systems. Okay. Parties immediately placing you into a party is a very unclear thing. I've never seen a lobby system that automatically places you into a party. It's very, very strange. So that one I think could use a bit more like work on like the interaction side. I feel like it should be more explicit if you want to join a random party versus be in like your own party. Because the way to avoid a party is you have to make your own private party, which is it's like an opt-out system versus an opt-in system, which I don't know if it works for like parties, but it's a bet that they're making. But that's not a problem necessarily, even though I say it is. It's more of a preference thing, and they're just trying something experimental, which you have to like. But the reason why the game side isn't ready is because there just are no games. Like people are still making them. It's why they have the like link. It's not made for the game side yet. The game side isn't really ready yet. Lobby system had a bug where a lobby could get any talk to say, but the game wouldn't load, leading to a black screen. This happened when the lobby host got swapped to a joining client without any game info. Fortunately, I had written it so people all to join the most populated lobby for a game, which ended up always being this toxic one with a bunch of people sitting in a black screen getting pissed off. When people got in the game, they realized most of them were spewing errors. When they joined a map that they had no tool gun or a spawn menu. Fair to say, we didn't leave them with a good impression. And again, it's funny to me that like people like will look at this and then realize like it's not like a beta. Like it's changed me. Everything about Sandbox right now, except for the front page, mentions that it's not ready yet. The front page is surprisingly light on the whole. It's not ready yet. They mentioned it in like a single blurb like further down. But the thing that they start with is this like cool like, oh yeah, Sandbox is like ready. Maybe they say it on the page where you get the key. This is a developer preview. Okay, that's on them. That's on them. For me, Sandbox is about minimizing regret. Unity has been good to us, but I regret that we didn't always have our own engine being developed in the background. I regret that Gary's mod community mostly have to leave Gary's mod. They want to make money from the things they create in it. So in my mind, Sandbox is broken into three different sections. The engine, the platform, and Sandlo. What is the engine? The engine is the core of it. Nothing else works, we have the engine. I would like Facepunch to have an engine that we can use to create our own games. One that isn't Unity, one that we fully control. Do you think this was related? I wonder when Sandbox like kicked in. Like when did Sandbox really start to get big? And like start to have development on it in like earnest. Was it? I wonder if it was around the because like Sandbox, the game engine side, wasn't really like it was there, but it wasn't really there because the editor before wasn't there. The scene editor wasn't there before. It was primarily about just the core source engine experience, and then building stuff in like tools built on like top of that. But there wasn't the scene editor to try and replace that fully built-in integrated experience yet. It was more disparate tools that you use to like build things. I wonder if they had it around the time the Unity 3D debacle, let's say, the money debacle, the pay per install, which was a very stupid way of doing things. The great if our work goes into improving our engine. I don't want to pay Unity 500k every year, so I can then pay my own staff to optimize and fix the engine. So true, King or Queen, so true. The long-term goal is to be making all of our games on Sandbox, and to have expanded so the engine works on mobile and console, etc. What's interesting is that I think there's a variation of the Source engine that does work on mobile, because what's the game name? Dota Underlords. Dota Underlords and Artifact both worked on mobile. But I can't tell if they use the Source engine or if they just use the like Valve's like Steam API, because I know they had integration with it, but I don't know if they used the engine in like earnest. In my mind, Dota Underlords probably does, because it's basically the same game as you would get on the Dota 2 engine, but maybe that's like a far stretch. So I wonder if it's already there, just as a consequence of having like this being a part of the Source 2 engine, or if they have different branches for different experimental things that they don't expose yet. Because again, like console licensing at least requires that portion of your engine be very private until you sign a contract, and then you have like a dev kit, and there's like a whole process you have to go through. Mobile is more open, but even then, there's a couple like intricacies on like mobile with the way that you have to build completely differently, so it's kind of annoying. So let's see how it goes. But I always thought it was fairly straightforward to get it going on that stuff. So Mario 64, yes, you might enjoy the Mario song. It's a drum and bass remix too. The platform, a Gary's Mod type platform, where there's a list of games and you can jump in between them. But this time providing a way for the game developers to monetize. I think this is a very smart choice because, again, Gary's Mod as is, a bit of a landmine with copyright stuff, but also a bit of a landmine where it's driven by passion. which doesn't really stay forever. So at some point, it's going to disappear. At some point, monetization needs to be handled carefully. If you download the iOS or Android App Store, it turns out to require a subscription. Do you hear my chewing, by the way? Sorry, I've been eating like popcorn. I'll stop. Every Roblox game is paid to win. We need to do better than that. Let people make money, but don't let it get predatory. This to work, we need games that get people sticking around. Yes. Okay, well, do you like it? We're making games that will try to do that. And we'll be making an official Sandbox game mode too. Starve. Streaming, starve for us. You're ruining the audio quality. Okay. Alright. Guys, I feel my bones collapsing on itself. I need nutrients. No, streamer, you can't eat yet. you can't eat until the stream is over. When do I get to stop streaming? Well, you see, I've subbed for a month, so you have to stream for at least a month. Oh. We need to do better than that. Yep. For this to work, yep, we're winning games, and we're making an official Sandbox mode too. They actually announced the Sandbox mode a long time ago. It was one of their, because they switched tracks. I remember reading through it when they started building out the engine more. They realized that they had something on their hands, but then they switched tracks away from making the official Sandbox mode because they realized that they need to get more developers on to figure out what to do. We're also trying to encourage game creation by doing game jams, like the one currently. Max prize, 20K. Let's see if our snow game gets even like 1 view. Gary's mod, being the popular game. The next step was to abandon the community and make a new version in Unity or Unreal. That fucking sucks. I love how Gary's like really emphasized this. Because not only does it suck for the creator have to learn new things, I'm assuming it sucks for them too to lose that opportunity. We want to let you use the Sandbox and integrate games, export them, give them away for free, or put them on Steam. We don't want the burden of collecting royalties or license fees. This is a huge burden from the business side, from the collector side. Because even though it's a near non-zero cost, there's a lot of stuff that you have to do. And hiring debt collectors to break people's knees is very hard. You would be surprised at how many people can't swing a baseball bat. The platform and our own game should make us money. That should be our incentive. We shouldn't be taxing your hard work, because having you use our engine is of benefit to us. Which is actually the same. It's fascinating that they say this. It's a very like Valveism, right? Because Valve, you buy Half-Life 2, you get the source engine. You can do anything with it. Like, you don't really have to license it. You just make your thing and you release it and you're good to go. And you don't have to pay anything because you paid the cost of like Half-Life 2. If you use any assets from the game, then you obviously you like can't. But say like a Dear Esther, right? When it went into like a standalone thing, they just went for it. Or like the Stanley Parable, right? They used it and then they just go out with it, and then it's like good to go. Like, there's no need to go for more. Like, you bought the game, you have access to it. It brings credence to the engine. What about Black Mesa? I'm pretty sure. Wasn't that not made in Source? I swear that was made in like Unity. No, I swear that thing wasn't even like a mod. I thought it was like a standalone Unity project. I know they were recreating Half-Life 1. But as far as I know, that falls under a different legal loophole. There isn't really a legal loophole. So fan games don't really, they're not legal. It's why Nintendo is very critical about shutting down fan games. It's why I'm still surprised that Poké Rogue is probably still up. Because the moment that you make a fan game, they're going to shut it down, right? Black Mesa, however, is a Valve fan game. Valve loves fan games, which is a very different thing. They love fan games, so they don't take action until it's very egregious. When they take action, though, they have to, but they don't do it out of goodwill. However, it's not the same as like whatchamacallit? Oh, they're selling it? Oh, that I had no clue. I thought it was just like a mod. I thought it was like a free experience, because last time I checked, you just download it. But you can also sell like remakes too, because I know that Valve has a lot of like mod contracts too. So like contracts with like modders. So Valve, at least for like some projects, like the HD project as well as the VR project. There's like two projects for Half-Life 2. The HD as well as the VR project was a community project, so they weren't even behind it. But they officially sanctioned it, and then they like let them sell their product as like a thing on top of the game. So you can buy, for instance, I forget which one it was, but you can buy the HD one or the VR one separately. I mean, assuming Black Mesa got the same thing too. But if you're asking me, you can Google it just as well. So yeah, just figure it out. But that's what I'm assuming. It's a rare case. I've only ever seen it with Sega and Valve. Most of the game companies, they don't really enjoy that stuff for obvious reasons. So what you usually get is like a cease and desist. And then if you don't get a cease and desist, it's because you're too small to really matter. Like remember the Metroid project, the one where they made like a whole, I guess, recreation and like a kind of like a spin-off on like the original story. Yeah, that one got DMCA'd immediately, and as soon as version 1.0 released, and it was never seen again. Now it floats around on like torrents somewhere. That's because Nintendo was very, very litigious with things. The Valve in general will probably allow this, and they'll usually tell them like, "Hey, you're allowed to do this within reason." But even then, if you make like a mod, you're allowed to distribute your like mod, because the way that the mods work is you have to buy the game to even use it. Like in Gary's mod, right? You literally can't do certain things without owning Counter-Strike Source or like Half-Life 2. So you have to own these games to still play Gary's mod. At least some of the content that was made with that in mind, with those assets in the mind. A lot of people use the barrels, for instance, from a CS Source. But even then, like a full separate thing using just the engine itself with no assets, you can do that fine too. It's just that legal gray area of like fan games where they tend to just not really care, or they either give like official sanction, which is like nice too. Oh, they have permission from Evolve. Thank you for googling it on your own. Appreciate it. Yeah. You also like to offer some assurance legally that we can't make changes. That we can't change the rules further down the line when we get jealous about how much money everyone is making. Yep. We obviously need officially Valve to say yes to this, but Valve are cool to get it, so I don't think they're gonna say no. They just need to know what they're saying yes to. So our aim is to put a demo together and see what we can do. I remember this being an issue as well, actually, because Source 2 right now is not fully open. Like Source 2, you're not allowed to use it on your own. Source 1 you are, because it's been out there for years and they've been doing stuff with it. But Source 2 still to this day doesn't even have an official SDK. So that's actually a very interesting point that they bring up. Because Sandbox is like a third-party SDK to Source 2. Sauce 2, that's what you call mayo. No. That's what you call ketchup or mustard. Mayo is a sauce 1 type sauce, okay? It's a tier 1 sauce. In the tier 1, actually, no, I put ketchup in the tier 1. As well as, let's see. Mayo is a tier 0. It's the progenitor of all sauces. It's like the mother sauce from French cooking, right? Same thing. But I'm curious about how they're going to handle this, because Source 2 has no SDK, and they need to figure out how to build the SDK. But because of that, this is a third-party SDK. Like, how's that going to work? Would they even allow this? I wonder what the demo is going to be. Game Jam 2. The main criticism with the last Game Jam was that it was closed access. It was a valid criticism, but it was also on purpose. You wanted to code and test the contest system in a controlled manner. This time is obviously open to everyone. The prize pool of money is now 40,000 euros, which again, you can actually join this yourself too. So if you want to download Sandbox, go to Sandbox, s-box.game and join the like game jam. No, it's a jam. Catch up? No. You know what's a jam? This Game Jam. You should join this yourself. 40,000 euros is a lot too, in like total. I understand the concern that old games can be re-entered. Obviously, the fact that we worked on a game for 6 months versus 30 days is going to be on our minds when reviewing them, so don't worry about that. And ultimately, don't worry. This isn't the last Game Jam. Treat this as a warm-up if you want to. Dedicated server. Holy shit, wait, what? The dedicated server work has begun. You will find a s-box server.exe in your game folder now. It's a work in progress. It isn't fully functional now. You feel like there's a few reasons why... Sorry, I feel like there's a few reasons people want a dedicated server right now, and I want to talk about them. They maybe think that the only way to monetize the game is via a VIP system on a dedicated server. That's fine, but I view this as an old-fashioned notion. I hardly agree. We will provide other better ways to monetize in the future. This is a very common thing that you find even back in like Counter-Strike Source servers. Especially in the Counter-Strike Source mod scene. Like people would pay to have like a custom class added to like the Warcraft 3 mods or like the RPG mods and like stuff. Or they would have like a VIP model on that server where they could have like a custom skin for their gun. Basically, it was like skins before Valve realized they could sell skins in CSGO, and then now CS2. It was a pain to both manage if you made it yourself, as well as like have to play with, because it was so oddly discordant with everything that an official system always feels a lot better. But also, we could go the way of like say any other game with UGC, where if you have no process to like curate it, then you could end up making anything, right? It's a bit like Roblox, where the monetization is an official method, and so what you get is this place where both official assets that don't fit your game, as well as unofficial assets that are only for your game, may mix in, like might clash. But that's more of a stylistic choice versus a technical reason and a sort of like a workflow reason. I'm glad that they're trying to think of it from a modern perspective, where they bake in the systems into the overall system itself, like the idea of monetization into the overall system itself. However, I'm glad that they also talk about server-side code, because this is actually relevant to us. So maybe you're writing a game mode and want to write into a database or something on your server, so the game is long-lasting. Which you can actually do that now, actually, because I don't think they. I think it's possible now, actually, because right now what you have is a WebSocket. You can just use WebSockets to write things. As far as I know, WebSockets are fast enough that you can do it just fine, and they use in many online games now. So we know for sure from a production standpoint that they work very, very well. So theoretically, there's nothing stopping you from doing this. It's just a lot of technical work that you have to go through, I think. But I don't know if that's necessarily true or not. OBS WebSockets are cool. Yeah, I mean, like any WebSocket, but I'm talking more the like low level WebSocket. OBS WebSockets are like their own thing. But this is more in the sense of like, the low level kind, where it's literally just a wrapper, a very thin wrapper layer around what the socket is on your like to your operating system. Because I think OBS has some other things you need to do to interface with it, because it's like a local thing. But they are cool because you can have like different applications running on your phone, for instance, to control your OBS, which I do need to like deal with eventually to manage this stream. Oh, like M and no? Wait, what? I don't know what it means. But I'm surprised they say they don't have a way. So maybe the documentation lied, because I'll show you afterwards. Or not lie. Maybe the documentation is ahead of the release date, because I remember there was a point in the docs that like mentioned this. I suspect though that if you're running code on your server, it doesn't need to be sandboxed and whitelisted anymore. I suspect by doing that, you can do whatever you want, like read a config file or environment variables or load other assemblies. So I don't see this being a big problem. It's just a goal that we need to reach. Oh, maybe this relates to the sandboxing thing. Okay, maybe. Okay, let's read some notes here. Look into sandboxing. This seems to. You were talking about wrappers. Oh. That was sorry. That joke flew over my head. Sorry. We're in a technical space here, okay? Your jokes, they will fly over my head, not because they're bad, but because I'm in a technical mindset. We'll need to whitelist. This seems to disable some networking stuff. How deep does this go? What even is whitelisting? I guess what even is sandboxing in the context of s&box? Like, what does that mean? Okay, so we have to figure that out. That's a good thing to learn. Model animation preview. What? Oh, okay, cool. So they gave their reasons. Then they were like, "Hey, check out this like cool shit." Cool. Model animation parameters can be previewed directly in the asset inspector. Useful seeing how a model is animated when you download the one from Asset Party. Oh, that's weird looking. That character is so disgustingly weird looking. I like it though. It has a certain flair to it. I actually really enjoy the way that they look. There's something reminds me of Inside. It reminds me of Inside. That game by the creators of like Limbo. It's like that meat section of the game where you become, well, I mean spoilers, where you start to like be like a meat person and you're like naked and like stuff. It reminds me of that, which I enjoyed. Because it's something about the way that it moves that feels unsettling, but also like so perfectly good for like a fleshy like being. I hope they. Okay. A lot of people hate this. A lot of people really hate these like models. I hope they never change them. I think they're actually really good. Citizen removal. You hate the citizen player model. You hate the sausage head. You hate their round eyes. You hate the fat ends. We'll be removing the citizen and replacing them with a generic to human. Like, no! I just said I love them. Why? X. I don't like this. I don't like this. 228 people don't like this. 110 do. The majority of people love this thing, and it doesn't matter in the end because if you want a custom model, you just make it yourself, buddy. Like, what do you expect? But when you want a built-in model, it's so stupidly funny that it's like perfect. I'm so sad. Gary, why did you cave? Why did you cave? Unless this is a joke. Because this is a generic humanoid character. So what if they cave and they just bring it back in like a slightly different way and no one notices? Our VR system now uses OpenXR, thank God for its backend, rather than SteamVR. SteamVR, it's interesting to see even the performance benchmarks that are coming out across various games. A lot of different games have been doing a lot more work with OpenXR. And so like even say American Truck Simulator, when we played in the VR, the performance of that game is way better on OpenXR. I've heard it's because SteamVR is so specific that only really Valve works on it. OpenXR has Valve, Meta, as well as some other companies on it, but I can't remember their names. I think Epic Games is like on it too. So a lot of people are like working on it, backing it, and thus they're developers, and thus they're like in-house talent that is basically on the cutting edge of this technology is there to work on it. I know Vive is on it too, so or like HTC or something. You love his sausage head. Thank you. You hate it. That's fine. Just put your go to this page. You don't have to sign in. Go to this page. Put your check mark there. Know that your opinion will not be heard. The main benefits to this are that we get loads of control over everything. We can expand the features much more. We're able to support a much wider range of devices. That is so true. Yeah. I mean, it's also interesting too with the new paradigms coming out. If you've ever seen, I think the Quest right now, the Quest 3. What the Quest 3 and VR chat are doing are so good. I think the new model of scan your hand with the Quest 3 camera, gesture-based control, is going to be the new paradigm. The controllers are cool when you want to map something like a pistol in your hand, right? Because it works really well in the context of Half-Life Alyx when I was playing it before off stream, and we'll play it on stream at some point. But compared to like in VR chat, when you're like using your hands to like talk to people, it feels weird. Like it feels wrong to move your hands around on a controller. So to see what the MetaQuest is doing with their like sensor for gesture-based control to map your hands using the cameras on the bottom of it to then see what your hands are like doing is genius to me. Even though there's a major flaw of it going to the back of your head, I think there was like a blind spot somewhere back there. But it's also true that like to support that, you need way more complex schemes that are more generic to how you handle different types of input. So it's nice that they actually see benefit from it. And I'm glad that they're doing this because again, VR chat is now the first experimenter in this space. I think it will maybe not the first experimenter, maybe the first major product that's actually using it because it's currently in a beta branch with the actual like hand tracking gesture thing. And I can't wait to see what happens when this goes widespread across every VR game. Because then you make it even easier to go into VR. It's already an expensive thing to get into because you need the headset, right? But if you can get rid of the controllers, you can get rid of like base stations. The more that you can get rid of, the better overall you'll get in terms of being able to convince people to go onto the platform. So, as much as I loathe Meta's like closed garden store, I also recognize that they're the only ones really pushing something really good in the space so far. So they're doing good. I just hate that I can't play the games right now because I've evolved next. No major changes to functionality on the user side. If VR worked for you before, it's still the same. Cool. You mentioned above our plans for Xbox. Yes, for Sandbox, not Xbox. The standalone exporter. Thank you. Going the ability to sort your game as your own executable. Been working hard on this. We have it at the point where you can export the game on its own executable with own Steam app ID with functional multiplayer and without a sandbox requirement on the user's end. Standalone games support everything you'd expect, including VR, local storage, and have their whitelist disabled. What is whitelisting? We need to really figure this out. The trade-off here is that standalone games have no access to the platform, which means you can't use their backend to load assets at runtime or post scores to the backend leaderboard, etc. This is a super basic feature set, and we'll obviously expand this as time goes on. I wonder how they're going to take this also from the perspective of Sandbox, because they're building a platform too, right? It's like the Roblox platform. Basically, what they're doing is a Roblox style where you have a shared platform. But then you can also bring the game out onto your own, like they show here with My Summer Cottage. I wonder how they're gonna tackle this from their own product side. Because if their platform dies, you almost lose one of the key reasons that Gary said why they're making Sandbox, right? Which isn't bad necessarily, because they have other reasons too, like having their own game engine and stuff, which I think is also a very valid reason. But I'm worried that causes them to lose an incentive to continue working on this tool, right? When they no longer have a platform to use with everything. Let me use one of those bot farms that linked to your chat. Oh, to spam vote the thing. No, wait, no. I'm gonna use a bot farm to spam vote up. I need to upvote this. Can everybody close this page and updo it, please? Please give it some updates. Let me think about this next point. I need to think about what to say here. It's a very important point. I'm curious how they're going to compete with themselves. You give an exporter to your engine. People then go do it, and they leave your ecosystem, which means that you no longer have access to it. I'm surprised there's no hybrid mode where you can either play it through Sandbox, maybe like a limited version or something. Well, I guess it wouldn't really matter. I mean, you got to play it through Sandbox, or you download it on its own, but you lose that ability to use the platform. So now your platform, your like backend platform, has to be very featureful to keep people on your platform to increase the value of your own platform. This is a weird part here, okay? Because Sandbox is two things. I'm trying to think of how to say this. We know for sure that Sandbox is the game editor, which we have here, right? This is very simple. We know why doesn't it load my scene? Where's my scene? Like, we know what this is, right? However, it's also Sandbox the game, like the other interface that I can't open at the same time as the engine, which is kind of annoying. But it also makes sense, where you have to go in and choose a game to play. That's a whole different scene. That's a whole different like thing to play with. But that's the platform. Like, that is the platform. Or rather, sorry, I had the mic. It's not the platform per se. But if that's your only way to interface with the platform, then from a user perspective, that's your platform. And from a developer's perspective, that's also your platform. And so if your users use the only way to connect to your platform, and they see no games on there, because every game exports, what happens to your platform? Do you end up kind of like the Dota 2 arcade? Like, if you go to the Dota 2 custom arcade section, there's a lot of trash on there. Like, tons of it. There's some great stuff. I'm actually saving some stuff for a Dota 2 mod segment, spoilers, because I found some really cool stuff. But for the most part, it's just like trash after trash, because it's just where your dead projects go to sort of sit, right? Again, if you want to export your own game, presumably you're reaching a level of quality that's on the level of My Summer Cottage. And if you're just gonna leave it to like language, but you still want something out there for people to like play with it, you're probably gonna stay on the like platform because there's less friction to it. Because when you export and you want to share it with like people, you then need to go make an itch.io account, upload it, get people to like download it, or you got to go into Steam, which is $100. Like, there's a lot more difficulty uploading stuff to some of the service versus using somebody else's infrastructure, right? I wonder how this will play out in the long term, and I hope it isn't like one of those weird toxic things where it's like you accidentally cannibalize yourself, because I think the platform is good. I just be very curious to see what other features they could add that somebody else couldn't add, and how they can possibly make it so that like it's worth it to go through this flow of open Sandbox, play your game, just to get the feature like a leaderboard, right? Though I assume that's one of the feature things that they'll talk about. Benchmark system. I worry about performance regressions a lot. We should always be getting more performance, not less. So we made a benchmark system. That's a bunch tests on every version we built. Damn, that's actually very intense. Submit it to our backend that we can keep track of performance of each version and see how it changed. One particular version got very, very slow. Once it got worse, he used to go back to find the version that fucked it. And I love how Gary is like unabashed about his like use of like swear words. Like, this is a mature space. He's like, hey, listen, buddy, you're on my site, you're on my tool. I'm Gary Newman. I haven't changed who I am in like years. Fuck off. And revert. We're trying to make performance better. It's now provable to see whether it's working. Yep. Start up and shutdown times. Yep. Caching of cubes goes from 9 to 2. Low level information garbage collector in the modern C# isn't a little shit like whatever Unity uses. This is a very, I'm surprised. Yes, this is a thing that most people don't know. A lot of people that I talk to that use Unity for larger projects, at some point they hit a point where it's like they have to ask and figure out how to integrate like a newer version of like, you know, modern C# like tools and like the whole runtime into the engine to make it not run like shit. Which is funny because Unity in a weird way is trying to move away from C#. Like you have the Unity to C++ thing, which is like the low level CPP, IL2 CCP. No, that's the CCP. Sorry, IL2 CPP, like a, I guess, compiler thing that transforms your C# code into C++. So it's funny that like it's both languishing, but also very difficult to access because it's like a transpiler from one language to another that you need to know the intricacies of to get the most use out of. And that's just the default situation in Unity 3D. And that's just for the code side. Like, everything in Unity 3D is in this weird place where, like, there's like an old way and a new way to do things. And they each have different trade-offs. One is not necessarily better. And so the new way doesn't really make sense in many different cases, just as the old way, right? Like the rendering engine, like the input system, like the... I think the event system or the entity system or something. ECS is in like a weird limbo state too. It's a whole mess. Run the benchmark. Yep. Eventually, all the results will be listed on the site. Okay, wait. You can run it too. You can run the benchmark. Oh. That way we can see how it runs on your machine. Hey, he uses the cow image on Steam. That's a very popular image, actually. We've implemented the reverse Z buffer depth buffer technique. What? Which is now standard in every game engine. I have no clue what is this. Reverse Z depth buffer technique. Here. There's a breakdown on Godot. What is the reverse? AKA, I'm sorry for breaking your shader. We decided to implement. Oh wait, no, I do know what this is. It's like usually you would do like the layers on top of each other, but the way that I had it explained was you do it like in reverse. That way you only do the layers that would have affected something, and you just ignore everything else. Usually you would do the far side or something first, and then you would like layer things on the top to like occlude the things behind it. Now you do like the front layer or something, and everything behind it you just skip because you do like a test, and then you like test way less, and it matters more the larger your resolution is, because 800 by 600, that's like that many pixels. Okay, 1920 by 1080, that's a lot more pixels, right? 1440p, which is 2560 by 1440, that's a way more pixels. 4K gets even crazier. So there's a lot of like sampling that you have to do on a per pixel basis, which is annoying. But I just don't remember how it works. Good night. You're off to bed. See you. Yes, see you tomorrow. Yes, again tomorrow is Lethal Company Day with Noggy, Narf9. They call you Narf9 from now on because you call me Sucky. Narf9 and Grumpy Meganay. I'll be right back too. Let me double check something. Sorry. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. He came to tuck me in. Don't ever say that ever again. That was okay. That's like sometimes it's funny, but like that was like super creepy, and I don't know why. I think it's because now we know each other, so it gets even creepier. Well, not know each other, but now that we played games with each other, now it's even creepier. But yes, have a good night. I kissed him on the forehead. But yeah, read this. You'll figure out what the what Z depth buffering is. I remember reading portions of it, like bits and pieces from different places. So my understanding is very weak. I'll go over this myself as well. I think I know the general concept. Doing a massive implement improvement to depth buffer precision, drastic reducing Z fighting, and allowing depth-based screen space effects like SSR, SSAO, and to be much more accurate. Essentially, push for larger open worlds in the engine. Yep. Source 2 uses an internal physics update. Uses an internal physics engine called Rubicon. So Source used to use Havoc, and then I think the licensing fees got like crazy or something. Like the licensing, there was something about the licensing of Havoc, or like the implementation that evolved in like. There's like a post somewhere about it, and then because Havoc is this here. Havoc, this was the thing that like drove everything. This was like the reason why the gravity gun felt so cool. But yeah, I think they stopped doing it because of some licensing thing and something where they couldn't customize it to what they needed. I mean, obviously, but it's fascinating too to see that though, because it's used by a lot of different places. Like a lot of people, a lot of different engines and places use this. It's fascinating to see the whole industry moving to different things. Like I know Godot has its own implementation of like a physics engine that's not focused on any level of simulation. It's focused purely on gameplay. So it's like there's some weird oddities about it, but you can tweak it enough to where it's like fine within the gameplay context. Whereas Unreal Engine, they have to care about like a much more accurate model because I think they sell like a simulation product. So it's fascinating to see the space go. Now they use Box 3D. Still pretty much Rubicon, maybe the same people, but the version that we can get constant updates to. This is already proved valuable for getting quick bug fixes. Oh. What is Box 3D then? Maybe they didn't make their own. Maybe the thing I read was a lie. Has my whole life been a lie? Has my whole life been a lie? Physics simulation engine. What? I don't think this is the one. I don't know if this is the one. Box 3D. What do I search to find the original Box 3D? Rubicon. Box 3D. Is it even available like outwardly to use? Box. Oh, there we go. Box 3D physics engine. What's the Rubicon physics? Rubicon physics. No, it is, yeah. Custom physics engine was the main provider. A Source 2 game is a modified. Oh, they modified it to be called Box 3D. What? I don't get it. So which one came first? Which one comes first? Which one comes second? Media. Debugging techniques by Sergey. Physics Rubicon. Hello, I work involved with Dirk. I help port, develop, and optimize our own in-house physics engine. You also they've implemented a physics engine for Uncharted Drake's Fortune. This guy's cracked. By the way, physics people who like work on the low-level engine stuff, they're insane. It's insane how good they are at like a lot of different things. They're really good at understanding what's happening. They're really good at translating research paper into like core development, and they're really good at like I guess just building features out of nothing, like literally nothing, because you're usually starting from a base of 0, and then they just make it. And it's like, how do you do this? It's pretty intense. That's what it is. Okay, cool. Well, I mean, I guess to us, there's no real difference. It just works for us anyway, so does it really matter? Been working with the community to improve our particle systems. A bunch of features have been added, like trail renderers, short start delays, model renderer, light renderer, spin forces, and pull forces. Well, I really want to play with this. I did hear that the particles initially before were way slower. Last game jam, which is where the My Summer College came from. Apparently, they had issues with one of the games had issues with with the particle system, and they mentioned that it wasn't that like good. But I mean, I don't know yet. But it's gonna be important for the things they want to do for a game. So we'll see how it goes. So give me 1 second. Okay, chat. Sorry about that. I'm back. Let's look at the terrain stuff. We've been progressing in the area on terrain, improving on stability and user experience. Ultimate goal. Wait, is my noise canceling on? Yeah. It's really something that will allow large open worlds easily and procedurally. It's always curious to me that when engines have to like support this stuff. I guess it makes sense because like a large open world is kind of the standard. It's like before you had levels, now you kind of want more spaces because we have the technology for it now. And it leads very well to very interesting game design. If done well, it can lead to very, very nice levels as long as they're done very well and not the Ubisoft way with the various markers, which I really hate. We recently added Box 3D, terrain materials, cloud terrain materials, PBR materials, auto packing, custom shaded API, height maps, slab maps, terrain material physics, height to blending materials creates much more realistic blends between materials. Oh yeah, and you just blend it based on which layer you want more of. Yeah, holes for caves. Okay, I've heard making caves is like the hardest thing ever. Like making like holes and actual like underground geometry, and I vaguely remember that being the case when I tried to experiment with it. It's because of the way that you have to make everything aware of the fact that like the space is open and you're allowed to go into different things. I'm curious what that actually meant. Maybe somebody else had like a different opinion of like why it was like that compared to what my understanding of it was. One of the most crucial aspects of creating an immersive scene is lighting. Until now, I've seen some had really flat lighting. Some things would not show up as you were editing. Lighting in the editor should now be much improved. Cube maps indirect lighting are generated in the scene viewport as you work, so what you see is what you get. That's very nice. Fast feedback loops are always nice, especially as we get larger with the game. I assume it takes longer to go into it and compile and like see things. You shouldn't have to compile things. You just drop it in. It should be nice now. Make the editing experience as seamless and interactive as possible, yet not heavy on your system's resources. Yep. Choose to have this calculated when a probe is dirty, or even as a fully dynamic lighting solution. There's a test scene that showcases dynamic lighting. Yep. It works for fog as well. I mean, lighting on fog, this effect works surprisingly well to make it feel good. I wish I could like make this thing even lower. The text is just so small. Future. The solution currently works fine, but doesn't have the granularity for fine details that VRAD 3 or a full global illumination system would give. What is VRAD 3? They use so many different terms, and I'm so curious what these are. VRAD 3. VRAD 3 is the command line tool that calculates and embeds lighting data into compiled maps. Huh. Wait, no, this is ringing a bell. This is ringing a bell. This is ringing a bell. This does ring a bell to me, actually. Yeah, this rings a bell. Yeah, okay. It's a built-in tool for like baking lighting into maps. A lot of people have concerns for performance or quality that will not be as good as a baked lighting solution. Being interactive doesn't mean we can't choose to pre-compute lighting, just that it shouldn't be as a blocking step. This is a very comprehensive update, actually, because the way that Gary posted this on like Twitter was like, hey, we have things to talk about. Like release Sandbox in like a more open fashion. People think it's Gary's mod 2. Time to clear things up. Maybe the first like 3 was about the whole like, okay, like Sandbox is not Gary's mod 2. And then the rest of it is like, all right, the rest of you that is still reading, that haven't clicked off because you were mad, or you're like a clickbait content creator going to make something about like Gary's mod 2 is dead. This is now, the rest of this is for you. You can now remap all the shortcuts in the editor through the short preference menu. Was that not possible before? Oh, editor shortcuts. I see. You can create shortcuts for your own editor tools and libraries. Okay, yep. We'll need that at some point, I guess. Working on the 2D sprite library allows you... I need to show you guys this after. I know we're getting very, very distracted, but this is a very cool tool that I think you'll all really enjoy. Also, in a video with sprite library that allows you to create sprite 2D resources that hold individual animations, each with their own origin, frame rate, broadcast events, and touch points. Yep. Make all your own 2D games of your own. Here's an example using those. What is that frog model? Is that like the generic frog model that like everyone has? I can't tell. But surprisingly smooth. Within the 2D sprite tools, I've been working on an editor that allows you to divide a sheet into a grid of tiles and then quickly delete, move, resize them to fit your needs. Once you have a 2D tile set resource, you'll be able to then select the tile set tools to create individual layers, each with their own tile set if you wish, and then paint them. There's a really cool tool called Crocodile that is basically tile-based editing, but for 3D scenes. It's a really, really cool tool. I've been checking it out more and more. But the idea is that you build your assets like tiles. You then just put them onto like 3D planes, and you build a 3D scene with them. And then you can then import that into your game of choice and then have it play, which is pretty damn sick. Oh, fuck, that thing is loud. Jesus fucking Christ. Why the fuck are you so loud? What the fuck? Like, that's pretty neat. IMO. And then you can edit the tile set afterwards. Like, within the actual editing view of the texture itself. And you can make some complex shapes too, like that tree. Do you see how the tree is like very, very bumpy? That's because you can transform all of these points. I mean, these are just vertices. And then you just... It's basically like a 3D modeling program. But it happens to do texturing kind of like how you would your normal tile editor. Which I always found to be a much more intuitive model compared to the way that you texture things. Like, the way you texture things now is like this. Where's the German face wrap? I have the German face wrap somewhere. Here we go. The way you would texture things is you need to like slice your model open and then you need to wrap it around in a way that it'll then translate to your model fine. So this is the Germa face wrap. So if you have a 3D model of Germa, you can cut it down the middle in the back of his head. So basically, you'd have to cut the middle in the back of his head. That's where the seam is for the texture. It's not the best place. I've heard you're supposed to hide the seams under like your chin and stuff. Places where you don't really need like very huge amounts of detail, where it's like off screen, where you don't look at it very often, or where you can't look at it very easily, like inside the collar of the shirt, or like under the clothing, or like something, right? Back the head, you see like a weird seam probably if it isn't done well, but you now have you can have your own 3D Germa. Yep. I don't know why someone made this, but it's very accurate. And what's funny is that it's just his face in the middle. Like if you just look at the face in the middle, that's just him. But I found this to be a much more intuitive model, and I always wish for a way to do this with 3D modeling that would then match, like that would then allow me to translate these assets into like a 3D space. Because I really don't understand UV unwrapping. So like this is a very cool tool. This Crocodile 3D. Highly recommend, because I've been playing around with it a tiny bit. It actually works out pretty damn well. And I can't wait to see what else is possible with this. But I've only just started working with this because I just found it recently. So check this out. Very cool tool. Very cheap too. Very, very cheap. I actually don't even know, is it cheap or is it free? It might just be free. No, it's not free. But again, cheap. Very, very cheap for what you would normally get. And I know $30 is it's absolutely a large amount of money, but relative to what you'd need otherwise to do something like this, and the level of like technical support that you would need to like make something like this works out very, very well for what you need, man. Kind of good for $30. So I'm curious to see how these tools shape up and what they mean by this stuff. Although this is primarily for like the 2D side of things, not like a 2D 3D mix. So Crocodile is that 2D 3D mix. Bomb Royale. Top-down bomb survival game where you must blow up your enemies and be the last man standing. It's all cyclical. How come every single game engine has like a tutorial that's like based around an existing game? Ubery has diseased. What has diseased? What? Ubery. Wait a minute. Wasn't that? Wait. I'm so sorry, chatter. So that Okay, sorry. That's funny. I think the chatter that came in at the beginning of the day was a Sandbox employee. I think I warned the Sandbox employee as part of a test. So for context, right at the beginning of the stream, right? We found the warning function, and then I was brainstorming ways to like do like a warning thing on like stream to like force people to read the rules, and I was waiting for like a new chatter to like pop up, and then Ubery came in, was a new chatter, and then did the Gigantify emote, which is good because I'm glad that it's like cheap enough to like do, okay. But I was like, okay, well, you've been chosen as a tribute, so I warned them as a test of the system. I'm so sorry. You probably just like came to hang out and like talk about the engine, and then I come in, and then as soon as you come in to say hello, I just demolish you with a warning. Oh, I love the online space. There's something funny about being in like an online social space, right? Where everyone gets to hang out and like interact across various wakes of like work and like life. It's very interesting. A brand new win-win strategy game. I'm also glad that they're making new games to show how this stuff is like made. And I wonder, because I know that Sandbox downloads the game. Do you actually get the source of the game too? I wonder if that like works. This is just battleships but with bugs. Sausage survivors. Oh man. Nicked HC1. We developed a first-person shooter we initially developed in a week for a challenge. We have continued to develop and polish the game into a solid FPS framework. The sub-goal was to push the human character, which we're improving on in the months to come. Oh, chat, they're actually getting rid of the sausage people. I'm so sad. I'm actually so sad. This is the new model. I miss my sausage person already. How dare you? No! I was one of the few people who liked the sausage people. No! To be fair, right? They had a lot of issues with it, at least from the vocal from a vocal standpoint. Like a lot of people had a problem with it vocally. So I guess at some point they had to do something about it. And I guess it is easier for you to make your game if the default model is like a more human generic model that feels a bit easier to work with, right? But like the sausage was so good. Where's the sausage? It was so good. I enjoyed the sausage person a lot. Like you show me this, and then you show how fun it is to work with the sausage person because they're so like wobbly, and then you say it's getting removed. No, it was bad. You're the problem. I'm sorry for yelling at you. But it had to be done. Had to be done. But yeah, I'm actually curious to see like how much of these like you get the source code too. Because again, the documentation is like, kind of all over the place. It's kind of hard to navigate at times. We kind of have to infer a lot and then go into like the assemblies to figure out what's like going on. And thankfully, I've experienced with like programming, so it's like okay, you're used to it. Is it? Do you all suffer from Stockholm syndrome being in my stream? I mean, I'm sure the Sandbox employee that showed up and immediately got warned as part of a test of a system that I want to build because I think it's funny to warn new chatters. They're like, again, I still think it's a great system, right? New chatter. You type your first message, you immediately get a warning that says you're on thin ice. I think that's funny because then it's like you don't know what you did wrong and we can't tell you because there is no reason, like nothing you did was like wrong. But it's funny because then it's like you automatically behave. It's like 1984, right? You have Big Brother watching you. I think that's funny to me. I don't know. Hopefully that person found it funny too. I'm probably like on like a watch list. They probably have me on a list, right? So when they go to evaluate the game jam, they probably won't ever like they'll never give me a good score at this point ever. Which is, to be fair, they won't give me a good score anyways. My game idea isn't going to be that revolutionary. It'll probably be bad. So, but this is a good example, for instance, of what I kind of want to do. And I'm curious to see how far the networking goes. So again, we still need to figure out what exactly they mean by sandboxing. Why does disabling this kick you out of the platform? What does it mean to leave the platform? What networking capabilities do you have to run your own server to do something like this? Or is this a part of the built-in backend of the game? And if so, like, how does this all work, right? Because, like, how do I make a game where a bunch of people build like snowmen together on a Christmas map, and can roll the snowballs together when the game has a natural like lobby system? But I don't want a lobby system. I want like a shared world, right? How do I do that? Let's see. I don't know. Let's just see. Let's just go again. Game jams are interesting because it's like you can go as ambitious as you want. Even if you're going to fail, because the point of the game jam is almost like it's like the journey, right? So you're probably going to see me fail, but that's also kind of the point of a game jam too. It's like to win a game jam, you kind of need a lot of different advantages in terms of knowledge and experience and like tools and learning. Whereas like to learn from the experience, to get the ball rolling on something, that's the more interesting part for me. But I also don't need $20,000. So YMMV, you need $20,000. You got to be good at it. I don't really need it, nor do I want it. It would be nice with a 4090, but let's see. Lots of big, bold moves this month. Lots of plate spinning. It feels like sink or swim for the platform. We either have to make it work or give up on it. I hope they don't give up on it. We're going to give it our best shot, but at the end of the day, if it doesn't work, then it doesn't work. I'm expecting August to have a quieter month. We have a hack week, then I'm on holiday for a week, so the team will have a holiday challenge. Then we got the game jam ending. I'm actually curious what they mean by like they'll give up on it. I guess it makes sense because it's like smaller team Facepunch. Well, not really small team. How many copies of Rust did they sell? Rust lifetime sales. Because I mean, Facepunch Studios games. They've made a lot of games. Well, I mean, a lot of games, but also like their major games. Like they're major games, right? Like this is. You know who they are. What the hell is Chippy? What the fuck is this? Twin stick bullet hell shit with destructible bots that came out of a Facepunch prototypes program. Huh. Prototypes program. What's a prototypes? What? Careers. My brother in Christ, I can't work for you. I can barely even make stuff in your engine. I can't work for you. Alive for 20 years. Huh. Anyways, they supposedly sold like 16 million games. That's what, That's what Wikipedia says. Power World sold 15 million. To be fair, they haven't been alive for 20 years, so maybe that 16 million copies, they're their money is running dry. But I can see why they would want to cut the idea, if it doesn't work. But I hope it does work, because I still think the platform thing is actually kind of an interesting way to take things, and I think it would be fun. It's just really hard not to have it devolve into what you see right now in the Dota 2 arcade or like the StarCraft 2 arcade, where you either only have the hits or you have everything, and then you can't sift through the hundreds of pages of just like prototypes, dead games, trash that you have to find something good. Like, it's really hard to go through that, right? And then moderation becomes your second biggest concern, which is already an impossible concern, right? And so it's what do you do? So sad to see. Seeing Terry die is sad. I so agree. I agree, Millie View. I'm sad to see the Sausage Man die. Rip Terry. They removed Terry. It's over. You see, chat? Do you see? Oh, you think it's all about, oh yeah, it's totally fine to remove the Sausage Man. Look at who you hurt. Look at how many people that you've hurt, huh? They removed Sausage Man. They hurt us. My Terry bounce is running low. Why did you let them bully you into this? Well, not bully them into this. It's not really a bully. It's also just a reality that they have to make a business decision with this, right? This is a huge investment for them. This is a very strong business investment that they're putting into it. And so they need to figure out how to make it work without it falling into the wayside. How many lines did they do? None. Chat, we just finished reading this stuff. What do you mean? What do you expect? I just finished reading this. You are all too impatient, okay? This is a part of the entire thing. If you don't read the news about the things that you work with, how can you... If you'd never read the news about the things that you were working with, you would see a bill sent to you by Unity 3D for pay per install. And you'd be like, where did this come from? Why do I owe $100,000 when I've only made $20 in sales because my game is a free-to-play game? Yeah, because you don't keep up to date, my brother in Christ. Because you don't read, my brother in Christ. I'm doing you a favor by forcing you to read this with me, because it's important to understand what's happening with this thing. Because I'm very curious about it. This is an experimental day. Don't be mad. But you're correct, though. I've written 0 lines. Well, this is quite sad. Terry was one of the things making Sandbox. R.I.P. Terry. Everything is good except the Terry situation. Ripped to a goat. You can't customize the face. Look on a human model like in Fallout 4, then deleting Terry, it's crap. Genuinely very happy about the switch to Terry models. X that guy. I need you all to come here and X this guy. X this guy, he's a yapper. The dedicated service stuff. I mean, everything else is cool though. But Terry? Come on, man. Anyways, yeah, we're going to see how this goes. We're going to go into this, and we're going to see how this goes. Now, last time we were doing this, I need to figure out what is sandboxing now, okay? So, again, we have a clear definition of a game, but let's write it down, because I realized I never wrote this down, so it's kind of hard for all of you to know what I'm doing. I need to make sure to hide the thing. One of you also asked, actually, there's a bunch of messages I didn't get to, and I'm sorry. So let me go back in time and redo this. One of you asked very early on, did it ever apply to the VShojo thing? No. I don't think I could work in the VShojo line of things. But even if I did apply, I wouldn't tell you, because I don't know if that's kosher. Because it would feel weird to say, I applied. Because the thing about... Okay, this is the thing about saying that you applied to some place, right? You applied to a place. Sorry, I'm getting Obsidian up. Snow game. What's that Christmas game? It's the most wonderful time of the year. Do 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 do. Nothing in cheer. It's the most. Yeah, maybe here. Yeah. But I feel bad about saying if I applied, because then you run into the situation where people will. Because if you don't get in, what happens is people are gonna go into the company and be like, how come you didn't accept this person? I don't want because there's lurkers here. I don't know how the lurkers behave. And I also don't know what happens if it's people who just watch that hate me, because people hate watch too. So I don't want them to just go in and be like, what's happening? Not mad, just disappointed. Just like my dad. Okay, chat, we're gonna write code, okay? We're gonna write code. Okay, Dad, I'm gonna write some code, okay? Please. I wanna eat. I don't wanna be locked up in the basement anymore. So yeah, if you ask if I applied to VShojo, I will say no, even if I did. Because again, it just feels bad to say that. It's why I don't say other streamers' names on stream unless it's a very innocuous or praise statement. But if it's somebody mentioning something about them that they in particular didn't like, I don't say the person's name because I read your messages out for context. Because I don't want people to then go and be like, "Oh yeah, this person said that your shit." It's like, no, like that's not the point. But in an online space, the anger is amplified by like 100 degrees. So you gotta be really careful not to get too crazy with it, right? It's why I look at Sandbox and I'm very clear on why I do so much like prep work going into it, because somebody's gonna stumble upon a Sandbox stream and be like, "Oh yeah, this guy's playing Gary's mod too," and then I show you the like development side, and it's like, no, this is the reality of it. We have to be real, right, chat? We gotta be real. Anyways, yeah. So I have an idea for the game. Okay, so multiple people building snowmen together on a shared map. This is a very simple concept. The reason why is because I'm learning the engine. I don't want to get too complicated, but it's also fun enough that by the time we get to Christmas, it might be a fun thing for everyone to like do. Okay, there's some things about this. As you move, you can choose to roll a snowball that gets larger the more you move. The larger the snowball, the harder the roll. I don't know why I wrote it like that, but that's a phrase that came to mind. I guess this is your design document, but this is not a very good way of doing it. So just think of it like a very shitty design document. You can also other people can help you push your snowball. Okay. I want as many people to play this at the same time on the same shared map as possible. Kind of like an MMO, which is kind of it's like that meme, right? Okay, this is like the meme. I'm making a science-based MMO as my first game. Science-based dragon-themed MMO as my first game. It's like that meme, right? But I think it's an interesting test because it's like, I don't think it'd be that complicated. And in worst case, you just drop down into a lobby system where people make their own like snow lobbies where they build things. It'd also be really shitty too, because it's gonna be worse than Minecraft in terms of what you can do. But in a way, that's the appeal of it. You're rolling this ball and you're just trying to get this ball into a certain size to like go somewhere. And it's meant to be like almost meditative in the way that I remember rolling snowballs were. Not that I mean, you still can. That snow still exists, but I just mean like, listen, in Canada it starts snowing in like January, so it takes a long time for us to start. Okay. When I was younger, and I was on the playground, and I was just rolling snowballs, and I got my snowball to be at least 8 feet with the help of many other students. I never reached a high like that ever again, and that's what I've been chasing for my whole life. For me to command that many people to roll a ball, I'm not even kidding you. We were like cavemen discovering fire, for the first time. Okay, there's something so funny about multiple people working together just to push a snowball to get larger and larger and larger to build stuff with, and using that as the base building block of stuff. It's also very like mind numbing because like for an entire lunch like break, I didn't even eat. Like I would just go outside, get my gloves on, start pushing. Anybody came up to like talk to me, I would like talk to them, and they would walk with me as I'm pushing. Somebody tried to hit on me actually. I remember this. But she was like, "Hey, do you know this like language?" And I was like, "Yeah." And she was like, "Oh yeah, me too." So where you're from? And then we like got to talking, and like the hitting part came on afterwards because they asked me out, and I was like, "Sorry, busy rolling." I just like annoyed them, and then they were like, "Oh, like you're so mean to my friend. Like, why did you say that to her? Like now she's gonna be sad that you're not gonna hang out with her." And then I was like, "Fuck off! I'm rolling." I was really dedicated to the idea of rolling a snowball. So this game is the attempt for me to recapture that feeling of rolling a snowball for like just an hour straight and then going back to class. Yeah. Oh, that's a great game jam concept, right? This is I want to recapture the feeling I once felt. I once felt as a child on the school grounds rolling my 8-foot snowball around with the help of my fellow snow patriots who wanted to join in on our attempt to make the biggest snowball around. What's crazy is that nobody broke this. Like people did not get along with me either. Like there was a lot of people that I had beef with, but we dropped all of those, inconsequential things. We dropped this idea of like, being divided in the human sense, and we turned to snow because like snow, one snowflake will melt away, but many snowflake will cover a field, and together you form ice. We were snow that day. One snowflake will melt away, but many snowflake will form ice field, will form beautiful fields of fields of ice. On that day, we will be we were snow once more. Chant, what is he yapping about? You figured it out. I think it's okay, and that's why this is, I think, a fun concept, right? It's more of a Zen concept. It's like this may be the first, Zen type game. Kojima made like a Stranding type game. I'm making my Zen type game. Okay, this is gonna put you into you play this game, you're gonna go like cure cancer. You play this game, you're gonna leave happier. Have a hard day at work, play this game. Your boss yelled at you, play this game. He no longer exists. He didn't even die. He just zapped out of existence. That's Zen, baby. That's right. You can make reality to be whatever you want it to be. Whew. Anyways, yeah. So with your snow patriots, call them snow patriots. That's good. Okay. So we have to define these concepts so we know what goals we're on. Okay. We're currently on this part. So for us to do this, we need like FPS controls, and then button to use to start snowball rolling, or to continue rolling existing snowballs. A snowball, I guess, like entity, or let's use the game terms, right? A snowball game object that is the focus of this act. Player models for us to move with. I refuse to lose Terry, so I will rip him. So I will rip him from the game's files. From the game's files in order to preserve him for all of time in my game, and then interact with. Yeah. We need to figure out sandboxing. So we need to do this now. Figure out the sandboxing. How does this disable the custom networking stuff? Right? Like, how does this work? This seems to disable custom networking stuff. How does this work? How deep does this go? What even is sandboxing in the context of like a Sandbox? Can we even do such a large play space? Presumably yes, because of their space, like a space copy, like the space copy. I forget the name of it. What was it called again? It wasn't called Space. It was called Reddit something, right? r/places of their because of their space, because of the places copy. Because of their places copy. And then I need a link to this. So presumably this would work. Presumably. There we go. I'm gonna save this. I'm sorry, I'm gonna save this. Oh man. So sad. That's good. It's really good. Yeah. Presumably it would work with this because they have pixels. Right? And pixels is this experience where you show up. There's a shared canvas where everyone can place a pixel. And you see how they cycle in the names, right? These are the tiles that you have for your party. So this is like your profile picture. That's a lot of profile pictures, actually. And I wonder what this means. Like, are these people here alive now? Because the player limit is like pretty damn high, but like, can we go even further? Like, can we have no player limit and just simulate that on some level with like custom networking? Is that too much? Is it built in? Let's see how this works, right? But I think it's good to look at it from this example. So we get this. So that's a link to it. So what even is sandboxing in the context of thing? We need FPS controls, player models, button to use to start snowball rolling, or to continue rolling existing snowballs. Some way to track movement of the player in order to calculate snowball growth. So somebody track movement of the player and strength movement of player and their in-game strength, push strength, yeah, in order to calculate snowball growth. This must be the sum of the push strength. I don't know why I put it in quotes, but it's too late now. It's too late to like back out now. And okay, now I see why people have different tools to write this with. This isn't working. We need some way to solidify this into a single concept I can refer back to. This must be the sum of the push strength of everyone trying to push the snowball. How did we do it? I guess in real life, right? So I remember trying this. You can't do this. Like, you can't. I don't want it to be realistic fully as like you must wait for the winter season for it to snow, even though that's technically what the access of the game might be like. But let's see if I can leave it open the entire time. But I'm thinking, would it be fun to do this? Because in real life, you can't do this. You can't have one dude behind you pushing your back as you push the snowball. But in the game, I think that'd be hilarious. Because it doesn't make any sense, right? And I think we could... Because if you want a really large snowball, I guess I need to define the limits of the snowball. But I think a really large snowball that requires a long conga line of players to push would be interesting. And what's key is I don't want a lock-on system. It must be skill-based. It's a skill-based system. So, you know what? I changed it. Okay, button to push hands out. That will then push whatever it is in front of it forward. A snowball game object that is focus of this act can also be done on players to combine your push strength with theirs. Okay, I have to do the quotes on it. It's just with theirs to help roll the ball, since large ball equal heavy ball. Or this is the funny part. Look, this is the funny part. Now you have a natural system by which people can act a fool, or to push against the ball, or to redirect it for either good or bad intentions. We have just nailed the true social snowball game. And I think this will probably cause a lot of people to be really pissed. So we need I was thinking about this. We probably need to have like a lobby system. Or like not a lobby system. I don't want to use the lobby system because I want everyone to be in the same space, right? So like have a protected spaces thing. Have a protected space mechanic. Maybe base it on your party but then how would this work, right? Because you have a party that's a part of the lobby system itself, as part of the game itself. But it's like, how do you make a stable party? Like, and how do you base it off of the party when it's not a stable party, right? Maybe a separate password for it. I don't know. So maybe a separate password for it to claim this space as yours, since the lobby party system isn't a stable way to form a group between sessions. or base it on the person who created the party. But then what happens if you accidentally join in and then you have to remake the party? You'd have to leave the session. Leave the session, right? We need to figure this out. This needs discovery. This needs discovery on what the best solution here for this is. But you need like a protected space mechanic where only a particular piece of space belongs to a specific party, that only they can build on it or roll snowballs in or out of it. However, once the snowball leaves, it is fair game for the rest of the world, right? These are then by necessity, the bare necessities, fairly small, because too large mean too empty. Too much safety, aka too much safety, is a bad thing. Don't wear helmets. We'll leave it at that. That's a good way to say it. Okay, so because we have that, we need to figure out the discovery of how to do with this. This I think is simple. You just define like a coordinate space. You need to store this somewhere that's stable. I just need to figure out how the networking works, right? It's really about like can be done by coordinates of corners. Keep it simple. Keep it as simple square shape because I don't want to get too complicated. With infinite height, infinite height. Yeah, infinite height. I was about to say domain expansion. Where to store this? How does data storage work on the Sandbox platform? Is it a built-in thing? Is it separate? Is it separate? If it's separate, what happens when we disable sandboxing? Do we lose it? So see, it's all tied into this question of what is sandboxing. So we need to figure it out. So you put your hands out, you then push whatever in the front of you is there by that force. So you can also push players, and everything also needs a resistance thing. So everything needs like a. So all objects, all objects, players, snowballs. Do I want people to be able to modify the snow? We haven't even gotten to the point where we're building the snowball structures yet. Do I want the people to be able to? By the way, we only have about half an hour left. I know that's crazy, but it's because I started late today. I can only go until whatever time it is in UTC in half an hour. So, my bad. I didn't realize it's been 5 hours. I'm so sorry. I thought we had more time. It's because I was late. So I won't be late next time. Tomorrow we'll be late. Oh, where? Will there ever be a point that I write code? Why does he do this to us? I'm sorry, okay? I don't have time, all right? Listen, you want me to have more time? Go contact your local ambassador for your local VTuber group to give me money so that I can keep doing this without having to go to interviews and other things. So that's so the reason why I was late this morning was I woke up late. Then I had to do maybe if I yap less, but I don't want to. I do what I want to. Like at least you're now aware, right? That on this stream I do what I want to. So it doesn't matter what you want. But I'll be doing a lot of discovery work off stream too. So it won't be like a wasted day. I just have to go do something for a bit, and so when I come back it'll be 12 p.m. And I don't want to stream at 12 p.m. Then we just read this and then I can read more and then I'll figure it out. Not gonna lie, you lost hope a long time ago. That's okay. Your hope was never welcome here. Your hope was never the currency here, right? Your hope was not my hope. My hope for this stream is that I make it my stream, and you just have to deal with it. I'm so sorry. Anyways, this needs discovery. Maybe make a basic party. So you have the snowball rolling. Maybe even built in. Okay, we'll say completed structures. Structures. have a resistance that is used to face against the push force. Now the building part. This is where I want to make it funny to build stuff with, okay? Because there's like a level of building that you have to like think about. Because balls are round, right? And I want to figure out how to make the building fun. Building mechanic. Words per minute. What's that? All I know is words per WPW. Words per week. Okay, think about this. Think about this, right? Just imagine this. If I wasn't streaming, I would say at most maybe like 5 to 10 words. Well, not 5 to 10 words. Like the only person I would ever converse with is my wife. Other than that, it's dead silence. If you live alone and you don't like do stuff, you don't say anything. Most people go most of their day without saying a single word to another human being, without a single word leaving your lips except fuck as you take a nice deep shit every morning, right? It's dead silence. Think about that for a second. I love my wife. Building mechanic. To build snow structures, the balls must be able to roll off. However, I want this to be relatively sticky since I don't want it to be difficult to build things. I don't think you need strength to build the structures, because from a game design perspective, that feels worse with no good reward. Like, it would feel worse to try to pick up like a snowball to put it on top of another larger snowball to try to like, do it, but you can pick it up only slowly because it's too heavy, right? Like it would disincentivize you from building big. Whereas I want you to go through the struggle of making a very large snowball and then trying to use it to build. Like, the fun is in the pushing. The building is a whole different act, and I want that to be in a different design space. So I'm going to divorce it from this idea of needing strength to keep it alive. To keep them from rolling off, you must apply snow around the connectors like putty. And I thought about this last night because I was thinking about this more. And the reason why we're doing this is because there's another mechanic. A button to load snowball from surrounding snow into hands to throw at someone or something, because this is important for building things, okay? Must be done via snowball throwing. So now we're in a different design space, okay? When you build the structure of the the snowmen, you must be able to throw the snowball with accuracy at the connectors, right? And we have to have some ways, like some visible thing in the game that shows where you must aim the snowballs. Think, I don't know, what's a good example of this? Think, I mean, Gary's mod has a great example, actually. Think those weird see-through boxes that you could sometimes see at attachment points in Gmod, or similar. It's like very similar to that. Or what you see in Hammer as you edit the level and drop an entity in or something. I don't know. Or the bone editor thing. There was a bone editor thing. I remember the bone editor thing. The facial animation tech in Source Engine was really good. Like, that editor still is crazy good. It's why SFM is so nice, because they just used all of that for SFM. It's really good. Button to load snowball from surrounding snow into hand to throw at someone or something can be used and will stick to structures as they're thrown on it, and will be like a very small snowball was attached at that point. The reason why this is for remote building. So basically, right, let's say you build a giant ass snowman, and I don't restrict you on how you can lift your snowball. You just do it, and you need to figure out how to keep the thing stable, right? Obviously, there's more mechanics that we need to build around, like, okay, like, how can we make it so that players can sort of keep the balls in balance as they're trying to stack them. This is a design problem that we need to solve. To do, I'll leave that there. But when you build a snowman, you stack the balls up. You're like, oh, I forgot the eyes. Well, no problem. Pull out your snowball. Just draw those bad boys in. You know how you make snowmen and you take like rocks to form the like mouth? Same concept, but with snowballs. I was thinking about this as a late game. This is MVP. Okay, this is MVP. Okay, so MVP. Wait, actually, maybe like this here. Okay, fuck it. MVP. Okay, wait. Overview. Development mantra. Everyone who joins the team must read this. Okay, they must read this. And then this goes down into the MVP over here. Let me go. Multiple people building snowmen. Call them snow patriots. As you move, you can choose thing. Go here. Yep. Okay, go over here. FPS controls. Bring all of this backwards. We can go one. There we go. Okay, we can go here. MVP. At the bare minimum, we need this. So multiple people. Yep. Call them snow patriots. Building together on a shared map. I guess that point would be better combined with this point over here. So it'd be like this. With as many people. So there we go. And then we need to figure out what this is, right? Like we need to figure out how to deal with this. Okay. Okay. So now we have a working plan. All right. So this is the MVP, and then nice to haves if I can get to it. Okay. Nice to haves is if we have time and I haven't horribly under budgeted my space between streaming making this and the games we need to play and life, we need to add colored snowballs, and I will use the U. I know many of you see the U as a relic of an older time, but I'm Canadian. I have no choice. Colored snowballs. Maybe this could come from like, think of those slushy dyes. Where like you had like, the red 40 that could like cause cancer, or like the beetle blue that like came from like a beetle shell, like stuff like that, okay? Maybe something like this, and we just figured out. You. What's funny is that depending on how you say it, it sounds the same, right? You. Piss on the ball. Holy shit, you're a genius. Can piss on snow anywhere to add yellow tints. Maybe we forget about dyes in general and we just focus on piss. Maybe we just focus on piss, or the yellow color must be only done through piss. I don't know. We'll figure this out. Do we only focus on piss? Is piss a flavor of snow? Is piss the only thing we can do to color snow? Realistically, this is like the MVP of this nice to have. The piss is perfect. You've read the piss too many times. Oh god, chat, you're onto something. That is a perfect idea. Okay, wait. So okay, piss of snow from chatter. No, not the thing. Sorry, from chatter. The mint. Because that's not my idea, so I will credit you. Brown, we are not doing brown shit. Okay, maybe okay, fine. We'll do brown shit. Is there a rating system? Like, what's the rating of Sandbox? Do you have to stay within the rating of like Sandbox? Is there what is this game? Like, you have to stay within the rating, right? Like, do early access games get a rating? Actually, I've always wondered like how does ESRB come into play with these games? Like, does it? Because I imagine many people release games without any like the egg game on Steam. I imagine has no like ESRB certification, or is it like a different system? Whatever, we won't get in that. It's not important. Okay, fine. So from Chatterbint. Okay, so there's like the MVP. The piss is perfect. The piss is the beginnings of a larger system. If P too much, red is created because blood. Oh, how about this? You start with clear P, right? So start with clear P, move to deep yellow, then P red. And you know what? Maybe we can do like this. Maybe you can do like Maybe there's food. Do I make people forage for food? Let's just plan this, okay? Because we don't have much time left. We might as well plan it now. Do we make people forage for food? Could also base it on foods you find around the world that you eat that can color your pee and that can color your pee. E.g., beets make your pee red without having to pee long. It works the other way around. If you don't pee, it turns red. The redder it is, the more damage it does. There is no damage. There is no such thing as damage in this game. Think of this game as like just a plain experience. Not like a not. It's not meant to be focused on the staying alive portion. It's meant to be about the snow building experience with some wacky things based like around that concept, right? So don't think in terms of people dying or something. Just think of it in the terms of like just wacky things that are built around the core experience. So this is wacky enough that it works, right? I know that you say you want to go from red to brown, but I think red is just good enough because the brown would be kind of weird. I don't think most people would draw the natural conclusion because I don't want like a heavy tutorial. I want the game to be very understandable. Instead, I think brown could be saved for can poop and smear it before it freezes to make different color. Is this how they made the pooping feature in like Rust? Like when they played Rust, right? Because when you play Rust, you like take a shit. Is this what happened? Like they were making the game and they were like, okay, we have the MVP, and somebody like suggested pee pee poo poo, and it's like, all right, well, let's just go with it. And then they realized that it was funny enough to like keep. This must have been what happened as they were making Rust. I feel like we're going down the same route. So, color maybe change on food. Color change on food eaten. Maybe that's a good way of doing it. From chatter. Well, not really from you. From Mint, with revisions by me, since it was originally for P. And yes, I'm including you in this game development process because I think if you make it a cool idea, you get to be a part of it. So I will credit you, but don't let it get to your head. All right, don't let it get to your head. We may not even finish. All right, but if I do finish, listen, this gives you more incentive to force me to finish, right? Because then don't you want your name on a cool little toy, huh? You like that shit, huh? I'll extend it by 1 hour. I'll leave in an hour and a half. I kind of want to, because it wasn't on time. I'll leave in 1 hour and a half. I think I have time to like push it, so. Hour and a half, that's the max I can go to because I need to prepare for tomorrow too. Tomorrow's a co-op day, so. I understand. You're not sure if that's a good thing or a bad thing. You're an accomplice. You're an accomplice to a crime. Whether or not that's good or bad depends on my crime. Is my art such a crime that I deserve to be, beheaded at the guillotine in the town square? Is it wrong to piss on someone's snow? This is a free country, no? You don't own the snow. It came from the skies, the heavens above, like the land we walk beneath our feet. Is it wrong to pee and poo where I please? Nay, I say. So therefore, it's not a crime. So hey, you get your name on it. Think of it as a good thing. Can piss on snow anywhere to add gelatin. Can poop snow. This is a nice to have. So colored snowballs, and you pee in the snowball to like add stuff to it. Like I think it's fine. Maybe extend this. Maybe extend this plus the P into even on structures existing. That should be good. Oh, nice to have as well. Camera system in game for screenshots, because I think posing would be interesting. It'd be interesting to make a bunch of poses and then we can upload it to the the platform asset source. So like posing system to pose for camera shots. How is this gonna work with the change from Terry to human model? I'm assuming the bones stay the same. I'm assuming the rigging stays the same since they're so similar. But this might be a final nice to have if it gets complex. Or we can also work around the fiddly bones that don't exist between the two models with clothing. Winter clothes, gloves, and maybe just even make our own model. Because why not? I'll learn how to 3D model. I'll do the 3D modeling stuff off screen. I'll figure it out. We'll just do it in like one day, really fast. Camera system in game for screenshots. I think that's good. Timed shots can place anywhere. Think VR chat camera. I don't want to do filters. No filters. Just basic photo. You can use GIMP or Photoshop for that if you want to get real fancy. And it's also easier on my end because I don't want to go too hard in this. Realistically, this is probably as simple as a secondary camera that we render into a viewport of sorts somewhere in the game as you're using it. Or can you also do projections onto a game object in the space? Or is it only possible in UI space? To do discovery, and also to do, like, what is the UI? We'll put it out. What else do I think about this game? Colored snowballs, camera system in-game for screenshots. Posing system to pose for camera shots. I think that's it. This is the real MVP side of it, so. The nice to haves are not very important, because like you can play the game, and if you want screenshots, one person can sit out of the photo. You choose your least favorite friend, you tell them to go fuck off and stand in the corner, take a photo. And then you're like, hey, it's my chair, and then everyone's already left, and it's fine, it's okay. So that's doable. Colored snowballs doesn't really matter, because snow is snow, everyone knows snow, and I've seen snowmen with no color that look very interesting, and it's cool. Ooh. This is the other one. Random shit around the map to find to stick to your snow structures. Think how people find the perfect 3-pronged branch to have an arm or something. Maybe include like real fake limbs around the map as part of a larger mystery. And then this one too. Secret underground nuclear bunker that reveals that all the snow in the world we live in the game, and the world that the game is in, is due to a nuclear winter. Yeah, that's like the final thing. Okay, good. We have a good sense of what we want. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's good. We'll do some discovery as we go through. Now we go into the actual thing. So FPS controls. I'm gonna focus on this right now because it's the easiest one to do it. To work with. Because we already have some of it working. I just don't know how to convert from look angle to rotation angle. I don't really know how that works. I'm not good with math. I don't know any of this. So let's see how it goes. Again, we're extending this by an hour and a half, so we have more time for this. I need to go use the washroom and put a bowl into the sink, and we'll get right into it in earnest. You better hope I don't crash at this point, because it would be funny as almost like the universe is trying to stop me. BRB. Alright, cool. I'm back. I'm jacked in. My bladder is empty, my body is full, and my brain is throbbing, as you can probably see. The universe trying to stop me from making the game is crazy. Well, God gives his greatest developers the extreme category of questions on LeetCode. And if you solve those, he doesn't really have many options left, right? At some point, he's going to have to take you out somehow. And listen, when I ran out of power for that like 2 or 3 days, I'm just saying, chat, it's a real bad time to be without power. One, who knew that having no lights at nighttime was absolutely terrifying, especially when there was no moon outside. Two, who knew life was so boring if you lived your entire life on the computer? Now, again, if it was like Ready Player One or something, or whatever the sci-fi movie was called, if I could play a game in real life with real consequences, hey, you know what? I'd be down for that. But you know what? That's just let's just move on. I don't know where I'm taking that anymore. Okay, the joke is that. Cool. So now we do Sandbox. Okay, so let's see what to do. I need to open up my I need to figure out how to do this. First, sandboxing. Wait, first sandboxing and documentation. What is the sandboxing? Like, how do I know what this does? Whitelist. Son of a bitch. Wait, this isn't the developer documentation? Oh, it's a different one. Sandbox. Auth tokens. Creating your own. Editor project. Whitelist. Huh. Your game can have an editor component to it. Your game's editor project is special in that it can access both the tools and the game code. Code. What? Right, like you have your own built-in editor. Okay, yeah. Editor project is not sandbox, not limited by any whitelist and can run any functions. Oh, I remember reading something about this. Functions. It was something like this. C#. Functions. Built-in? Coding. It was a specific section on the coding side. Maybe that's what they mean. I don't know. This is a thing. You can use this. No, that's not what I need. Coding. Getting started. Learning resources. S&box resources. Carson Compens, it's a YouTube video. I really don't want to watch a YouTube video. I hate this new modern day of learning. Okay, I hate this. And they say this. They Gary mentions this, or like Facepunch. Please use developer docs in Discord to figure stuff out. Yes, I hate that every community is moving to Discord, and no one uses forums anymore too. But that's the way that the world is. Listen, I know you've given up on fighting back against the world. I'm gonna fight back against the world and say videos were not made for tutorials, and that Discord, I don't want to join it because I'm like terrified because there's been a couple of exploits and I don't want to get involved in some weird thing. I'm just saying, okay, if you make a video playlist, I can't watch 30 minutes. I could read this in 5 minutes. But you forced me to sit through your video, and you forced me to get views on your fucking channel. Like my brother in Christ, I'll like the video anyways because you put effort in, and so thank you for building up the community. And hey, you know what? You at least deserve a little love for that, okay? But I hate it. I hate giving you love even if I don't care about the thing, alright? I'm just saying that I could read this way faster than I'd watch it. Why does everything move towards video tutorials? Give me a book! Imagine you're trying to learn something from me, and instead of me writing it out for you, you have to listen to me talk about it. You know how much I stutter, right? Like, you know how much I stutter. By the time we finish the first sentence, I'll have wasted 30 minutes trying to catch my breath. Give it to an AI and ask it to write a summary. That's stupid, but yeah, I'll do it. That's stupid. That's stupid enough that I kind of wanna try it. Sup, bitch? Summarize this video for me. Like a knowledge cuck. You want a summary of the video? Yep. Okay, cool. Machine learning intro. And guys, this is... It didn't even pull the right video. Like, it didn't even bother pulling the right video. It just wrote a summary of a different video. No, you stupid fuck. I want a summary of this tutorial. What is the title of the tutorial video? How about you watch the video on your stupid fake brain and tell me what it's about? I'm the knowledge bull here. You're the watching cuck. You stupid cuck. I see you feeling feisty today. Okay, well, listen. You use an extension for that called ChatGPT Summarize in the chat. Chat, I was just joking. I actually wouldn't want to like deal with that, but also I wouldn't trust it either because as you just saw, the results are very, very iffy. The results are very, very iffy, and you might as well just watch the thing. Like, if you rely on AI, you're probably going to get demolished. It reads original transcript. Chat, I can't tell you how often the transcript reads everything wrong and how much information is encoded within the video itself. Like, as much as I hate on it, right? There's so much information that also comes from just viewing the damn thing and seeing what they do on a step-by-step basis. I guarantee you, there are probably like large segments of this video where they don't talk and they just say, follow these steps. And then they just show you like steps and then is go. Which are very valuable steps because it's like, okay, now you know where to find something or how to do something. But it's like, I don't think those things actually work, because if it just reads the transcript, one that is usually automatically generated, you're probably doomed. So, I don't know. I wouldn't trust them, like, anyway. Plus, I wouldn't bother anyways. Let's question the scenes. Okay, what is the... I'm trying to figure out what exactly is the thing that they sandbox. Like, what is the sandbox? I remember they mentioned it somewhere. Properties. Enabling, disabling. They mentioned somewhere here or somewhere else. Attributes and component properties. Ah, yes. Aha. Code access list. S-box uses Sandbox uses an access list to restrict which types and members you can access from your code. This is necessary to prevent access to dangerous functions such as process start, DLL import, or reflection, which are dangerous. Yeah. The only access items are allowed in the access list below. You can see the access list. Is this related to the access list? The problem is I don't know, because they use 3 different terms, right? Here they use access list. In the editor experience, you go to preferences, and you have the whitelist. And then, you know, within when they were talking about it in the July update, they were talking about the sandbox. It's like, what is that? What does that mean? I don't want to join Discord. I don't want to do it. You can't make me do it. I refuse to do it. I'll figure it out myself. I'm going to use an illegal function. Let's try this. I'm going to use this illegal function. I'm going to see if it changes when I get rid of the sandbox. If it does, then by deduction, that's what the sandbox is. That's what the whitelist is. That's what this access list is. It's all the same thing. If it doesn't, then we've got bigger problems on the hand, and I won't even bother with it. We'll just figure out what we can do within the constraints of it. I just want to learn about it. Process start starts a process resource. What's a good process? I guess command 32 is fine. Is it cmd.exe? Yeah. The IDE has detected. Okay, fine. Yeah, just whatever. Just do the folder thing. Yeah, add exclusions. Suck my dick. I don't care. Do it. Sorry, OBS elevation thing. Project path. Thank you. Very cool. Okay, what do? Okay, well, let's just try to use this. Let's do it on as soon as you press here. Okay, input. What other inputs do I have? Input. Open console. Open. Wait, how does it handle spaces? I guess it doesn't matter because it's like you just do this. Open console. We'll do tilde. Oh. Oh, that's unfortunate. Ooh. That's weird. Because tilde is the hotkey for the editor. So you can't use tilde for the in-game thing. Okay, well, stop. We'll do like this. We'll do like, can you do a chord? You can't do a chord. Okay, well, stop. Okay, stop linking. Please stop linking, please. We'll do V. You press V, you open the console. Okay, input down. We'll just try this out. I'm very curious how this works. Oh my god, it's blinking. Stop blinking on me, please. Stop that shit. Okay, thank you, bye. God, how do you, like, force this thing to format? How come the Control-Alt-L? Okay, input down. Open console. We'll just delete this, and then we'll do... I don't know why I keep doing that. I should be doing $, and we'll do process start. Process. I actually don't know what namespace is in. Oh, here we go, yeah. Process.start. How do you use this? Unsupported platform, iOS, tvOS, Mac Catalyst. Yeah, makes sense. Start to reuse. That's specified by the start info of this process component. What? Oh, it's not a static function. Oh, it's not a static function. Oh, you have to build like a process component. No, you just do this. Yeah. What? This API is not CLS compliant. Okay, well, where's the Windows version? String. Name of the application. Public static system.diagnosis the process that start File name. What is the actual file name? Is it CMD? Yeah, it's CMD. Okay, good. We'll do CMD. What are strings in C sharp? I know that's a stupid thing to say, but like, do you need single quotes or like double quotes? Is it anal? Are you anal about strings? Like, do you care about quotes? Close string labels to end with a single double quoted character on the same line. Eh? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. The immutability. Wait, are they immutable by default? Oh, they are. Huh. I thought they weren't immutable by default. Huh. I thought they went the way of like the like a C string, where you can just modify that I think as much as you like want, and you gotta deal with the consequences of like going over or like under. Nice. They're not anal. Anal doesn't matter. So CMD. Okay, just to try it. Okay, cool. Let's see if this works. Well, it compiled fine. I don't know what that means. Cannot load package. Access control error. Here we go. Whitelist error. Unknown. Here we go. Yeah, white. What's there? Okay, so now if I get rid of the whitelist, can I say A once again? What? Why do you want me to say? I'm not chat. Do not involve me in your fetish. That's the one thing that I'm gonna say you can't do. It has to be funny. At the very least, it has to be funny. Okay. Sorry, the music was so loud too. I didn't realize. But I do enjoy the music being louder. So. Okay, so now if I turn off the whitelist, I guess you can't modify settings as either mute at all. I guess the problem is I don't want to mute it. Fuck. Wait, no, it's not okay. Don't mute it. I don't want the notifications. That's the important part. Don't mute when unfocused. I feel like I want to hear it when I'm here. 60. Off. You just thought that it was cute. Don't do that. You are not allowed to form that parasocial connection with me. Yeah, you're not allowed to form it. We have to stop the parasociality. I'm here to tell you that you can't ever. I don't even want you to look at me. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. I got really when I started yelling at you, I looked at my bowl of popcorn and I ate it and I kept eating it. I'm so sorry. So whitelist is gone. Does it? It's not about you. It's about your body, your vocal cords. Yes. Also, it doesn't open, and I don't know why. Well, there's no error anymore. Can I clear this? So now the whitelist error is like gone. We know the input is working. Whitelist error is like gone. So that's what the whitelist is. The whitelist is about that. The whitelist is about the functions that you use, which makes sense. So you can't use code that isn't verified by that list, which is also why they have to build these APIs to then allow you access again, because it's not a full environment. It makes sense now. Okay. Now it makes sense. So we know what the whitelist is now. I understand what this is now. I'm going to remove this because I don't want to do process start ever again. And then we'll do this. Yeah, sure. Okay, good. Why are you mad? Does not match the rules. Types and namespaces. Okay, fine. Fine. Jeez. Whatever. How do you do autocomplete in this? What's hockey? All plus enter. I haven't used this editor in a very long time. Sure. Does every compile fine, and do you lose the reference to it now? You do. You lose the reference to the thing. It gets removed from it, so you need to add it back. Fascinating. Okay, cool. Really good. Here. Let me do that. Okay, so now we know what the sandbox is. The sandbox is specifically the access list. So sandbox equal access list equal whitelist. All the same term for the same thing, disallowing use of code that would break out of the confines of the game platform. So this makes sense. You're making games that people can just download onto your machine from within the game. You really don't want somebody to make a game on Sandbox, load in, as soon as the game loads, you hook into that, and then they start a processing. It makes sense. It's also why they mentioned the networking side of things, because if you do your own custom networking, you'd have to do, and you have to interface with function calls that deal with custom networking. I'm assuming C# doesn't have anything, or maybe they have something built in, or maybe the built-in stuff is like a third-party thing. But I'm assuming that's why they didn't want to make it possible by default, because then you opened up this idea of like unsanitized input from anywhere. Because what's stopping you from just talking to some random server, sending data to it, and all of a sudden like marking people, and then even just downloading arbitrary programs that you just then run on when you finish downloading or like something, right? Like it seems like a huge mess. So okay, so that makes sense. So what is sandboxing? It seems that they disable. Now we need to figure out, okay, what is it in the context of networking? Because I'm very curious about that. We need to answer questions. So I like to handle projects in this flow, right? What are you trying to do? Define an MVP, cut it down to as small as you can into the features that you must have to build the experience, right? Then do discovery to see if it's even feasible. Then from there, you go back and you refine your plans, or you drop the idea as a whole and you realize, okay, this isn't going to work, change, and like pivot, right? Because some things may not be possible because of an effort thing, but if you don't have the amount of time and space to put in the effort, then you might as well just say that it's also impossible. There's no difference between you not having the space to work on it and you not being able to work on it because of some hard factor that's like blocking you, like a wall, like an actual wall, right? They both have the same effect on you, so you might as well know that immediately to know whether or not your idea is viable. So you need to reach an MVP of your game design, like not even your game design, just any project that you work. Reach the MVP of what you're trying to do ASAP from a I think this will work perspective, from a documentation, from a sort of like proposal perspective. Then I like to reach MVP in terms of development. So this is what all of this is. So right now we're in the step of reach MVP of my proposal. Does my proposal of a game work? Is there anything else missing from this? Do we need to expand this? Then we'll actually build the MVP out, because we have some things, but I need to handle mouse looking. We maybe need a better project tracker, because this is already kind of confusing, but fuck it. I'll leave to-dos everywhere in like the usual way. Where am I? What am I doing? Network. It's not about you. It's your vocal codes. Network helper. Well, the network helper is only for the lobby side, right? Last time, I mean, we have it here somewhere. Yeah, just for the lobby side. Sites a lobby, says who like joins, handles the connection for it. They spawn a spawn location. You like set these, and you just spawn the like model thing that's like there, or whatever you are. Yep. And then prefab clone the player prefab. Yep. So that doesn't really help me. Maybe the other docs have something. Why are there two different documentations? I don't get it. I guess this is the community wiki. Anybody can write here. Anybody. Like, it's just like anybody, right? Like, you know what I mean? Anybody. Might as well go here. Smiley face. Okay, so networking. Network. Other projects are not Sandbox. Okay, why was the word network in here? There's a word network was used in here. Why did it tick up? What? Network. Ooh. Networked objects. We know about network helper, network and multiplayer, network thing. RPC messages, testing multiplayer, and then as well as sockets. There was another thing that we found last time about sockets, so I'm curious about what this means. Bum. Okay. Network spawn, it will then have a thing. Sync properties, RPC messages. And remote procedural, I actually don't remember what RPC stands for, but like the key is the R means remote. So if you do something on that object, it actually sends a network call back to the host of whoever is like running the session. That will then handle the actual thing itself. Learning. What did you expect? What did you expect the programming segment would be? Chat, huh? To go learning not like this? What did you expect it would be? If You think programming is anything but a constant state of learning and trying to figure things out and then trying to build things up into it? And if you thought the Sandbox project wasn't gonna be like a learning thing, because do you know what Sandbox is? Do you work at Facepunch Studios, and have you worked with the engine for a long period of time? I'm sorry, but I feel like your expectations were completely off. Yes. Then why don't you just tell your boss to give me $20,000 and we can be done with this nonsense, okay? I can just leave it. We can say I've built the game. Give me $20,000. Give me the prize, and I can walk off. It's fine. Let them know. I tell Gary, ask him how. You know, Yuribi. I'm sorry, Yuribi. You were the one person. You came from Facepunch. I know that now because you were in the demo video here, and you were just a part of an experiment that I wanted to like do. And I'm sorry for doing that, but it was funny. I'm sorry. It was just funny at the moment. Clear interpolation. What interpolation? Oh, like for movement? I guess interpolation? What? You lied. Like you said that like a child who hasn't been caught but like doesn't know that they've been caught. As if it wasn't obvious at all. It's just I don't know, it's just funny. It's like I lied. Oh man. That's good. That's really good. Anyway, so if I go to this and I go networked, my component, no, we go to this. If I go networked, what does that do? What does that do actually? Yeah, sure. Offset, yeah. If it's proxy, if it's not a proxy, returns false. What is network interpolation? Go? What? Transform is interpolate. So when it says interpolation, it literally means the transform. There's nothing else going crazy here. Okay. So that only interpolates the transform of it. Okay, cool. So is any of this useful to answering my question that I had before about what, like, how do you do like networking across larger scales? Probably not. Is there a lobby limit? Party. Lobby system. Okay, lobby, join lobby. What's the max number of players in the lobby? Is there a way to see this? Well, go to the documentation first. Don't go crazy. You go a bit crazy. You go too far, it's gonna be hard to come back from it. Okay, ownership, we need that anyway. It's good to know what the ownership model is like. And though it seems fairly straightforward. Lobby. Okay, how do I set the lobby limit? Like how many people can play this game? Is there like an upper limit, or is it just like an undefined limit for now, and then they just like hope that you never have to get there? Oh, 64. Okay, well now, okay, wait a minute. So you go from 64 at the top end of this slider. If you slide the slider back to the top end, it goes 16. So whatever you do, don't slide the slider. Can I enter in any number? Well, I mean, there's a limit, obviously, because it rolls over. But if I do like 10,000, is that stupid? Seems fine. I wouldn't suggest doing this, but it seems fine. Your machine might blow up, but it's fine. Sure, we'll leave it like that for now. We'll fix it later. Okay, so cool. There's not really a hard limit. So could we do everything in without having to build our own server? But then I want your structures to stay stable on a global map, like that r/place copy. So let's see if I can still do the networking. No, okay. If we want to, then we have to do our own networking. Yeah, it's fine anyways because I want to do that for like fun anyway. So only transfer by default. Network object can only change by the host, so the current owner can change that behavior by setting its only transfer value. Eh? Anyone can change the owner. Okay, don't do this. Go! Would I even be able to use any of this? Right? Okay, so what I'm thinking is this. If you have to, the way it works is that because it makes sense because you want like a level of ownership. So like everything is simulated. So ownership means that it's simulated on a single machine, which is great. But what I want to do is a shared map where it's owned by the game itself, and it like everyone updates it at the same time. Could I use any of the built-in networking stuff? Because the networking stuff requires ownership. How do I then specify that my server is the owner for all this stuff? Right? If I want to have this stuff be stable across different things. How do I then say that this is owned by somebody else entirely? And then how does that work within the rest of the engine? Because I'm assuming the server is not equal to a client of some kind, like within the terms of their networking model, or like a connection, or whatever, like a player, whatever it's called, in their model. I'm assuming that their ownership model only works for the built-in, right? Only works built-in. Maybe. That's a question. That's a deep question. Because this makes sense. And then we help with creating a server. Under the hood, implementing iNetwork Listener. What's that? Just do this for now. I know what's this. Alt enter. There we go. Import missing reference in file. Sure. Okay, what's this? A component with this interface can react to network events. Unconnected. Build line 10. Yep, line 17. Call when someone leaves the server. I'm assuming this is not a part of the assembly for obvious reasons. Which is why it's so incomplete. Because at least, oh wait, no. It's incomplete because it's an interface. Sorry, because you have to define these. So you get a connection. How is something is loaded? Could I use this myself and just deal with it myself? I don't know. Internal send, internal receive. Now refresh objects. Time, name, address unknown. I guess IP address is connecting. Messages sent. Send a message. Send raw message. Oh, those are internal. Wait, we can also send it to that connection. Can we just make our own connection? I don't want to break it too much. Let's just stick within whatever the document teaches. We break it too much, and we're gonna get into a state where we then have to fix it. I want to fix things. So this is the closest bet here. Networking multiplayer. Wasn't there like a WebSocket thing last time that they mentioned? Or maybe that no longer exists. Maybe they removed it from the documentation because it no longer exists. So we'd have to figure out how to make it work with the system. Or, man, I really don't want to drop the shared world idea though. But we have to. I don't mind dropping that from MVP. Snowjob. So let's say the shared world thing. Sorry, wrong hotkeys. Shared map. This is like the MVP. This is no longer MVP because it's kind of hard. For now, use built-in networking to make it work, since that's the main supported and developed flow at the moment. Because the alternative is you kind of gotta do like this stuff, right? You have to make a shared map, but I don't know if there's a way to actually like do the networking on that level. So we'll move it to nice to have. See, that's why you do discovery work. Because then it's like, okay, well, is it even possible? No. Okay, we'll figure out like a game plan. I still like the idea of the game. Let's just make it like a local thing for now. Means that at some point you probably lose your thing. So I'm curious how the R place one works. So maybe could base this off the R place. Is there a way to see? Other people can help you push your sand. Okay, so we figured out the sandboxing. And bring this down here. We got the sandboxing. So we know what this is. So this is really its own thing now. What even is sandboxing? It's this. Can we even do such a large play space? Can we even do such a large play space that stores its data in a persistent way that is then available to everybody who plays the experience, not just the party in that session. And then it's presumably yes because their places copy. Really, it's whatever they're doing with this that I need to then figure out, right? What is that doing under the hood? And I don't really know. I don't want to join the Discord. I don't want to because then I have to show like a Discord thing on screen, and that's a whole different mess. Like, I'll join the Discord off screen and I'll figure it out. I'll join the Discord off screen and I'll figure it out. Also, I actually can't push it too far. We have only 10 minutes left. Sorry, I thought I could go for another an hour and a half. But while I was saying all of that, so I paused in times. I got an email. I have to go soon. Sorry about that. It's just the way life is. Tomorrow will be a long day of Lethal Company plus more Sandbox. Basically, every day for this entire week will be thing we do plus Sandbox. Thing we do plus Sandbox. Until the game jam is over in 20 days. I hope to have an MVP done by 7 days. So we're on day 2. We need to do as much discovery as we can, both here as well as just off thing. We need to figure out how to make this all work. So network events. You know, react to people leaving, going. Yep, use the component thing or network spawn. Yep. Mm-hmm. The host can change permissions. Huh. You do that on the event as they join. Yep. Network events, sorry. RPC messages. Okay, RPC is called when it calls remotely. Yep. I figure I know what this is, I think. Why did network pop this up? This is just their visual scripting. I don't want to deal with it. Maybe the visual scripting tool. Yeah. One way we can try to discover it, the visual scripting tool probably has most of what they have. So if I find the visual scripting tool, we can probably go from there. How the fuck do you find the visual scripting tool? Where's your visual scripting tool? You have to use the built-in component actions. Here we go. I don't know. Test. New test component. What? New razor panel component. What the fuck is a razor? What? Don't get it. How'd they get collider box? Collider box. Does the cube not have a collider? I don't. Collider. Let's just see. I'm curious to see how much we can explore from this. Is a trigger. Okay, well, it looks completely different, so I don't really know. Well. How the troubles have started. That looks completely different, and I don't even know what this is, so, okay, whatever, it's fine. Using C++, using C Sharp, adding parameters, renaming parameters. What? What? Huh? Oh, that's just how to interface with the action graph, right? Yeah, because you probably want to interface with it. To be fair, the action graph is probably very useful because there's a lot of things that you want to like hook up and like wire up from a gameplay perspective, like what model to show up on the thing. You can use properties and stuff, but you can also use like the action graph to define different things to hook it all up together to make like a single thing, and then what controller to spawn onto it and stuff, and then it's simple from there. But it's easier. Component versioning, upgraders. Why would that matter? I need to figure out what is the base of the engine a little bit. Because I think that matters because of the way that it handles initialization and updates. Fixed update, you do this on pre-render, scenes tracing, yep, directory, simplest trace, get all components. User tracing, sphere trace. Oh, thank God, that's like built in. Okay, good. Async. Oh, God. Well, okay, well, async tasks in Sandbox run on the main thread. They operate a lot like coroutines. Okay, good. Make them the same thing. I think it says I need to work switch places during the frame, and you just specify where in the frame it's going to. And you just say where it is, like at like what stage. Gotcha. Okay, cool. Okay, well. Alright, let's not bother with this custom server yet. We'll just focus on what we need to do. In which case, that makes it a lot easier. I don't even need to think about the networking side. That's very simple. I get how this works. It's all RPCs under the... It's just, it's a very simple model. You have RPCs. You define where it gets pushed. You then define the host. The host is very simple. whoever is just the head of the party. It's a very simple model, so it makes sense. Okay, so now we can continue on with all the other fun stuff. All right, 5 minutes. So let's see how much we can actually get done. I don't think we can get much done. Is there any other questions that we need to learn? This is simple. Use the built-in stuff. It's got RPCs and ownership models built in, and ownership built in. So it's just a matter of making things react as we would expect with data coming through. I almost wrote gooning through, and I don't know why. As you move the snowball gets larger, okay, any questions that we need to do? How can you make it so players sort of keep the balls in balance? Okay, that's more of a game design question. This is a game design question. This is a game design question. Ignore that. FPS controls is simple. I need to figure out the look angle thing. Is there anything that I can do very quickly before I have to sign off? Because it's actually getting really, really close. Okay. No, we have the input stuff. We know how to do the input. I'm going to look into why the look angle stuff. I'm going to read up on angles afterwards. Read up on the networking thing. I think we're mostly good. Yeah, okay. Yeah, we have a clear set of things to do. We'll have to build like a, I don't know, look at the devlog. August 2nd. Did nothing. Learned something. August 3rd. Made this. Learned more. Feasible? Probably. You need more research off stream. August 4th. We finish the FPS controller. The ability to project force from our hands out into the world in front of us against the object that lies in front of us. Physics. How do you do physics? That's a good question. Physics. Physics. How would you do physics? I mean, I guess it's just a matter of like doing the transform yourself, right? So you calculate it based on the position and the position there. You do the angle. I don't know why this sounds like that. And then you do all of that, and then you figure out the angle at which it should move. That's not that bad. Maybe this song. That's not that bad. In which case, you wouldn't need to do anything. Are there any weird helpers for like pushing things? I guess there wouldn't be, but you know, there's a sphere collider, so things rolling is a built-in thing, so it's not too bad. So we'd have to be world position actually. It's good. I think we're good. I think we have all the questions that we solved, so there's nothing else to really care about. So tomorrow we finish the FPS controller, the ability to project force in front of us against objects that lie in front of us. So we'll do this. August 4th. We'll do these. We finish the FPS controller. Finish. Add. I guess like I don't know what to call it. Layers permissions. Well, not really a permission thing, but like some way to specify what can and can't be pushed. Since otherwise you could probably push the game world. Push the game world. And this is easy because you just do like a ray trace, what's in front of you. What's in front of you, inspect it for information. Do the transform, calculating the resulting angle based on facing of player, their forward versus the current movement of the thing. Needs whatever that term is called. It's not friction, but needs like weight behind the churning, so it at least feels good. I think that's good to say. Okay, so somebody specify what can be pushed since you otherwise could probably push the world. Can probably just be a tag component of sorts that specifies that it can be interacted with. This is very simple. You just have like a random, just a component with a single property, with a property on it, can push, or whatever. Or just the existence of it. Or just the existence of it. Is there a better built-in way to do this? Akin to like layers or something? in layers or tags or something like in, I don't know, e.g. Unity. I think Unity has something like this where you can like tag things on like different tags that's built in. You don't have to build like a random component, but it doesn't really matter. These three alone will get us something to do, as well as we need to make a snowball. We need to make a snowball. Very important to get a snowball. Rolling snowball. I can see the already sphere collider, sphere model, and then we'll have to figure out graphics at some point. August 5th, we're also going, so might as well plan that out. It really depends on, like, again, we have to finish this by this like day. Like, we cannot not finish this, right? Game world plus terrain. So get that going, and then ability to stack up the snow to build structures. As well as the snowball throwing. Maybe we do snowball throwing that same day. I mean, the snowball throwing mechanic. This really depends on if I can get it done. But I really want to get this, like, actually, yeah, we have to have the snowball throwing mechanic. Okay. Yeah, that's the plan. We need an MVP within 7 days because the whole thing runs for the 24 days. So you need MVP within 7 days. Play around with it, make it feel good. Spend 7 days and then spend the next 2 weeks polishing the experience from a turd into a less like smelly turd, like a frozen turd that no longer has smell. Anyway, thank you for watching Sandbox. I have to go. Sorry, probably Facepunch employee. I saw your name inside the video for the the news post. That's funny to me though that you joined as soon as I wanted to do an experiment with a new chatter. So yeah. Thank you for showing up to this chaotic stream as always. It's a fun time. Tomorrow it's gonna be a lot of fun stuff. But yeah, I really enjoy actually this so far. It's fun to get into this with like the sandbox stuff too, because it's both learning something new and just trying to make it work within the confines of what it is. I have a lot of faith in what they're doing. I have a lot of faith. Wait, was that a dev? So their name is actually in one of these videos. I'm not even kidding you. They were in the Bomberman game. Look. Well, I mean, their name here is Yuribi. No, so their name is Yubiri, and then their name here is Yubiri. I'm so sorry. Oh, because this game was made by Facepunch Studios, and I'm assuming that they playtested this with Facepunch team members. So that's funny. That's so funny. That's so funny. Oh, fuck. You missed the joke? Yeah. I don't know if you were there, but at the beginning of the stream, there was a Facepunch team member. I didn't know that they were there. It was the discussion about this thing. About the commands. It was about the discussion about the automatic warning system as a way to like keep people on your toes, right? As like a funny way to like, to like put like new chatters through like a trial by like fire. And then I was like, okay, just imagine if it feels like this, right? So I used the warning on Nagi to know what it felt like to warn them. And then Yubi rejoined, and then I was like, okay, well, good. We have a new test subject. Perfect, right? First time chatter. So I used it on them, and then they were like, why did you warn me? And I was like, sorry, you were just chosen at random for the Hunger Games. And I didn't realize it was just a developer who showed up from Facepunch. Who just probably wanted to show up to be like, hey, man, I heard you're working with Sandbox. Just... Let's hope I'm wrong. Let's hope I'm wrong. Let's just hope that they're not a real developer and that, you know what I mean? Like, maybe they're just a player and they're not a real developer and they just happen to show up in some random thing, okay? Let's hope that they're not a real developer, but anyways... Thank you for showing up today to the Sandbox thing. Poor guy, probably never coming back. To be fair, I hope he's also not a developer because then well, what if they're a judge? What if they're a judge and they look at this and they're like, wait a minute, I know this fucking game. It's from that guy. And then it's like, there goes $20,000. You know what I mean? Like, So yeah, we gotta be careful. Anyways, welcome to Sandbox. I think this engine has a lot of potential. I think the platform has a lot of potential too. it's really good for short-term games, right? It's a bit like that model of, I guess, custom maps in Dota 2 and StarCraft 2. You go on, you play a custom game. It's very interesting. It's a bit like Roblox, even, right? It works well for Roblox, so I really hope it works out well too, because you kind of want that, but geared for a different audience by default, which is more of a marketing thing, but also geared at a different level of capability. Not to say that Roblox is incapable, but I enjoy the model that they're working with. And I like the idea of seeing the Source engine being used in more places because I enjoy using the engine as is, but they've done a really interesting job with the editor so far. In a very limited time using it, doing only like one or two things. It feels good, nice. It feels really good so far. And compared to Source 1, it's not a piece of shit anymore. So I'm just saying, man, when you use Source 1, you're like, yeah, that's a lot of cruft on it. So interesting to get access to Source 2 in this way. So I hope it works out well for them. It's why I want to see this grow. So fun that we get to try this, and hopefully for the best, we will make something good within a week. Okay, again, 7 days, get MVP. Next 2 weeks, polish the turd. See how far we take this concept. We're going to give each other Snowjob. So anyways, welcome to the Sandbox. Thank you for watching the Sandbox, building the game Snowjob. God gives his greatest developers the extreme category on leak code. Is that a kosher? Is that okay? To say in a recording? That's fine. It's whatever. It's a funny joke.